the White House, President Eisenhower signs the proclamation that makes Alaska's entry into the Union official, nearly 92 years after Lincoln's Secretary of State bought the territory from the Russian Tsar for $7 million.
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit acminc.com today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Superglue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They're the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Anchortown Dogs, located on 4th Avenue across from the old 4th Avenue Theater. Look for the blue and gold umbrella. From reindeer dogs to bomb gyros, they've got you covered. Anchortown Dogs, your local gourmet hot dog and sausage cart.
Crude Magazine, Alaska-based media outlet using the last frontier as a springboard to discover larger truths about the cultures of our great state. Read more at crudemag.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include snow and ice management, weekly lawn care, and more. Get your free estimate today at lawnproak.com.
Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th. Handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Lady with a Plan, your own Alaska event planner. From scouting the perfect location to planning the tiniest details, specializing in event management and production for intimate social gatherings. Find Lady with a Plan on Instagram. Most appreciated. Oh, the full crisp. Galen, man, you don't listen, do you?
I pre-gamed. Sorry. I'm so new. I'm like a baby.
Just used to the locker room.
Like a little baby, yeah.
You walk in, throw your bag in.
I thought they were gone. Like, I had to get the last one.
So I put one in my little Yeti.
It's pretty
koozie.
fancy.
Yep. And so
the Yeti fleshlight.
Yeah, I might as well have one of those along with a chair. Yeah, the sun tanning pad and the whole thing. And then I'll crack one and drink it, and then I'll put this in there and just like, and I'll just set it to the side.
Yeah.
Then drink my other one.
That should be my new ringtone. Just a.
A caribou call?
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Yeah.
Oh, I like
Remember when you used to have to buy ringtones? Like,
Oh, you don't have to buy them anymore?
On your Nokia brick.
yeah, that's right. That's right.
Plain worm.
You don't have to buy them anymore?
Oh, you probably still have to buy them if
Yeah.
you want it, but I don't think that. I don't know.
They're not as cool as they once were.
No, it was
No,
a big
people
thing.
don't do that anymore, do they?
Oh, I still have ringtones.
You still buy ringtones? Can you
No,
still
they're
buy 'em?
my old ones that I got a long time ago.
Oh, okay.
Like OG,
like
like
Nelly?
Series Apple.
Ja Rule.
We're going to the party. We're gonna have a good time.
Nelly and Ja Rule. I had an Ice Cube one for a while.
Nice.
Ooh, I like
Yeah,
that.
I felt like the coolest kid ever when
Yeah.
that thing
Yeah,
ran.
the fuck the police one.
Yeah.
No, that's NWA. That's really old school.
Yeah. Yeah.
I tried to do one of our own songs.
Super Bowl a couple weeks ago. Old. Like,
Oh yeah.
My back still hurts.
Oh yeah.
I was like, yeah, this is the best halftime show.
Was everybody just as confused when they saw Fitty hanging though?
75 cents?
He's got 25 cents more
Yeah, I
on
was
him.
like, why is he upside down? He tried to get down. He's like, oh, God. Oh, I shouldn't have done that.
Damn.
That was a lot.
I heard the introduction of another ESPN podcast, and he was like breaking down the upcoming show, and he's like, the end of his thing was like, and yes, we'll find out if 50 Cent's okay.
I pulled a
50 Cent
hammy.
okay? I'm like, man, I'm wondering if he's okay. 'Cause I mean,
They get a stretcher out for him. Just
The cart comes out.
I
He was
just
thick, dude.
the other dudes are such legends. I was surprised to see 50 Cent there. Is he that big of a legend? Like Eminem and Snoop Dogg, Dre. I mean,
Well, I think he probably made all those people a lot of money.
yeah.
So like, all right, we're
Yeah.
gonna give you 20 seconds
Yeah.
of the
hang,
one song,
hang upside down.
but you can't be up here with us. You're gonna be down there.
You got to be upside down here.
Yeah.
Yeah. Mike, what did you think about the halftime show? Did you watch it?
Yeah, I watched it. I'm a little bit older than you guys, but it was. I like Snoop Dogg in there. That was pretty good. Yeah. And I was like, hey, is he gonna? Hey, okay. And I watched the game. I didn't have anything else to do. The hawk was fat, and so don't tell her she's fat. She gets upset.
She eating wings and meatballs and stuff.
Well, welcome
Was she
to
like 50 Cent thick? Or
yeah, 75. Welcome to Alaska Wild Project, episode 53. I want to give a quick shout out to all the new sponsors. I don't know if you guys noticed in the intro there, it's a little bit longer because we added a whole bunch of new people that are
20.
are supporting us. Yeah, funny, actually, if you time it right, all the new sponsors adds up to about 4 minutes and 20 seconds. Funny. But all the old sponsors, Double Shovel, Serrano's,
So
Treehouse, AKO Farms, Lawn Pro, Anchortown, The Bait Shack, Tailored Restoration, Alaska Overlander, Total Truck, Lady with a Plan, The Connoisseur, Arbor Digital, Crude Magazine, and of course Barney's. So thank you for all those local businesses that jumped on board with us for the 2022 season. So if you haven't heard any of these businesses, or definitely check them out or stop by if they have a brick and mortar, and give them some support since they're supporting us, and we would really, really appreciate that. And also thank you to Galen Nelson, who's our guest today.
Got a face for radio.
The OG.
Yeah.
Galen, this is a podcast. So
Exactly. A face for a podcast.
even better.
Galen, your Instagram is at Galen Nelson. How did you get your own name?
I'm not like like super hip on that stuff. So I just was like, first name, last name.
And it worked?
Hockey name. Yeah. I didn't know there's a, some kind of
Custom
super
handle or
cool.
something
Yeah. I
cool?
was like, I'm not that cool. So I just was like,
G Nelly.
It's usually
Just
hard to get
something
your
cool.
own name.
100%.
I didn't know.
What about Waylon? Did he get his own name?
yeah, brother's name rhyme. Waylon Nelson. No, I don't know.
No, because when I try to get mine, my name is not.
Yeah.
It's different.
Same
It's
here.
very different,
Yep.
and I had to add an underscore and a bunch of stuff.
I got at Daniel Buitrago too.
You did. It's Galen Nelson, Daniel Petrarca.
He'll sell it to you after the show.
Yeah.
Give him 3 cookies.
Yeah, it's the same as my OnlyFans account, so it matches up.
So do you pay people to go on your OnlyFans?
Yeah, $20 a pop.
That's good money.
Oh man.
Yeah. Times is tough, man. COVID, it hit us all in a different way.
That it did.
Well, Galen is a lifelong Alaskan, and you kind of grew up in an area where most people leave town to go to that area to go hunt and go fish and stuff like that. And the Glennallen, Melchina,
The heart of Unit 13.
the heart of Unit 13,
It may not be the heart. There may be another. We'll call it the heart.
the clavicle.
It's not the armpit.
The
I mean, that's for sure.
anus, something, I don't know. Yeah, I know it. Yeah, growing up Glennallen, a lot of people may know it or may not know it. It's a lot of roads. People think the roads lead to Glennallen, but I think all roads lead from Glennallen. It's pipeline town, mission town. There's a lot of unique features, we can say. But a lot of good. Clutina, Copper River. Gulkana. It's a hot spot for a lot of anglers and hunters. And we grew up right kind of smack dab there. So I spent my school year there, and then so both my parents are chiropractors. They moved up in '83 and posted up there for whatever reason. And so Glennallen for school year, and then ended up going to Dillingham in the summers, and so it was kind of a polar opposite, kind of fundamentally and kind of socially and everything else. So it's mission town in the school year and fishing village in the summer. So there's a lot of different kind of weird stories, but kind of like places that everybody goes, the Bristol Bay Lodge and all the GCI Lodge and all that. We grew up like on the lake there, where a lot of people pay a lot of money to go, go to. And luckily enough, it's like growing up, you kind of take it for granted, but it's one of those things you look back, you're like, I fish there in a skiff, like every year, and then you get dropped off in a beaver, getting a sponsored trip, with Sportsman's or somebody, and you're like, we literally fished right there, like 10 years ago, and so it's kind of a cool, cool story there.
It's funny, the chiropractor thing. I was just thinking, I had a student the other day. There's this kindergartner was walking around outside in recess, and he had this note, and he's like passing it around to all these kids, and I'm like, what's this kid doing? So he comes in and gives this to me. He's like, hey, Mr. Daniel, and he gives me the note, and I open it up, and it says, free neck cracks. And I was like, what? I was like, what is this? And then I so I was like, I'm gonna go ahead and take this, what I'm saying, and
you should,
no big deal.
You should report that.
Go play.
Yeah.
And so then I go and
situation.
I go and I talk to his teacher. I'm like, what's up with this? She's like, oh, his mom's a chiropractor.
You're just going up to kids.
He's out there just like,
She's all got a stack over here on her desk. Like, I've got a couple of those.
yeah,
Free neck crack. Yeah.
just passing out her business cards. Free neck cracks.
Yeah, a bunch of kindergartners. Yeah.
Damn.
Kids only charging $10.
Yeah.
I mean, I was almost like, let's see what you got.
You got insurance? Where's your insurance card?
That's crazy, Galen. So, Glennallen and Dillingham.
Yeah. It's about as two different places as you can get, right?
Dude.
I mean, Glennallen had, probably 5 or 6 churches, like in Glennallen proper, which is like 2 miles long.
Yeah.
And Dillingham had 5 or 6 bars, 2 miles long. So it's, it's
such a different dynamic.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, it's
classical, unique Alaskan small community, and,
Yeah.
and Glennallen's like a hub.
Oh yeah.
That's what I always equated.
Shout out to the hub.
The hub. Yeah. But in terms of it being like that, what a mega intersection it is for Alaska.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, the history of the pipeline going through, Valdez, I mean, it it's kind of one of the, and I mean, it's right at the base of the, the Wrangles, and a lot of buddies, hunt, and their livelihood is hunt, right, and it's like I said, there's a lot of great rivers, fishing, hunting. I mean, there's trapping, a lot of the core of what Alaskan is kind of that style of community. It's not Anchorage. Growing up is Anchorage is a big city. There's just gangs and shootings and all that. And I still got people. My brother comes in. He's actually in right now. But it's they come in. They're like, oh, if I come in town, I'm packing heat because there's I'm like, I've lived here for 20 years and never got shot.
Better knock on wood, bro.
Yeah.
Let's not go out here and
so
call them the gangsters. But.
What would you say is the the border or the outline of Glennallen? Is it like from Tulsa down,
Oh
or
man,
like
that's that's a depends on who you talk to, right? I mean, it's from Eureka to I'd say this side of Kenny Lake and kind of Gulkana area, Gulkana, and I always grew up as like, oh, it's a town of 2,000, and we're talking to some coworkers the other day, and I actually looked it up. They're like, the population in Glennallen is like 350. I was like, okay, well, not gonna, but my graduating class was 35, and it's it's a big area, small population, but it's kind of a neat area.
Yeah, it is for sure.
Was there? Did you go to school on the bus, or parents had to drop you off?
So I grew up 20 miles outside of town. So and growing up, I had two brothers, and then my mom got remarried, and her husband had 3 kids, and so if we were able to get up on time and get to the bus, we'd take the bus, and it would take about an hour for 20 minutes, but we'd miss the bus at about 9 times out of 10. And she'd fucking haul ass and just be like flashing her lights and honking her horn, try to stop the bus to get us. She's like, you bastards. But she single mom and small business owner, so she'd usually just drive into town anyway. Excuse me. And so it did a lot of driving.
Were they the only nutcrackers in town?
Oh yeah. There's
locked down the market.
They got it locked down.
Were they busy?
Busy enough. Growing up, I never wanted for anything. But like looking back, you're like talking to your folks, and you're like, everybody just thought, oh, your parents are doctors, you guys are loaded, and it's like, there's some tight times. It's like growing up, a town of 2,000, you can't have that many people. Like,
right.
I mean, how many chiropractors are in Anchorage? There's quite a few, right? I don't know what the total population, or total amount is, but. It's anyway, they did okay. It was a comfortable life, and in Dillingham, they got the fisherman's fund, they call it. You pay, part of your being a fisherman, you pay like $35 a year, and you get free, healthcare and chiropractic and stuff. So my dad kind of reaped the fruits of that, and it was, boats come in and he slammed for like, a couple days, and then, they leave, and it was pretty lucrative for him. And he actually started the practice in Dutch Harbor for a couple of years, or quite a few years, honestly. But did that, did Dillingham, and it was just kind of lawless town.
Did you want to grow up to be a chiropractor?
Hell no.
Just the sound of the spine cracking.
No, it's. I mean, I just. Yeah, I mean, you gotta like to help people and whatever. It's just not my cup of tea.
Yeah.
So,
what was the if you can recall, like the elementary school, junior high school, like life?
Honestly, it's kind of, I don't know how you Anchorage boys did it, but, it's like you had your group of friends, 5 out of 20, and you just kind of grew up with them. From kindergarten, I still hang out with like, 3 or 4 of the kindergarten buddies I had growing up, and they're all, successful. Like we all kind of, you move up and, kind of everybody does all right for, small town. You just think like everybody's going to end up working at the gas station for the rest of their life. But, one of my buddies, got a doctorate in clinical psychology, and, his brother actually flew Air Force 2. Went to, and we had a buddy that's Navy SEAL. Like, there's a lot of, pretty amazing people that came out of there, which is, I don't know if that's amazing or not, but, it's like, oh yeah, we got something here.
Did anybody stay?
Oh yeah. It's actually kind of funny. There's like a, this revitalization of like people that, moved out, and they're like, F small town living, and then they have kids, and they're like, we're going to move back. Yeah. And then they buy a house, and you're like, oh, you don't have to pay property tax or sales tax or, any tax. And they're like, yeah, dude, you have this big ass house, and, it's good. That small town vibe is, it's cool. It's, you know your neighbors, you don't have to lock your doors, and there's something to be said for that, but it's not for me.
Yeah.
So
Air Force 2?
Yeah, Air Force One's other plane.
Is that for the vice president?
Yeah.
Who flies in Air Force
It's for
2?
dignitaries. And, yeah. It's like,
It has all the spy equipment on it.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what they do.
It's still a big deal, okay? All right, so it requires a really epic fucking pilot.
Yeah. He flew what, the C-130s for 20 years. Just going from wherever on the East Coast to Germany to all these other places, and he just behind the stick, and it's like I don't know how many thousands of hours you got to have, but he ended his career like they called him up to Delaware or something, and then they're like, oh, you're just gonna if you want to fly Air Force 2, that's the last couple of years of your career, and you just kind of do it, and he now retired like all good military Air Force pilots. He's flying for UPS now, making a bunch of money.
Nice.
So is there an Air Force 3? Mike, do you know about these Air Force levels and numbers? You want to elaborate on that?
Oh, before you got Mike, we have Mike Radford here too, from episode 22 from the falconry episode. Mike came in to join us and have some caribou calls with us. So if you hear Mike, if you haven't heard that episode, definitely go and check that one out, because it's a really awesome episode on falconry and what it takes to capture these birds and all that stuff.
And lots of bees and honey stuff.
Bees and honey, that's right.
Yeah, we had the birds and the bees.
It
was an educational podcast. No, well, Air Force One, of course, is the president, and it can be Air Force One or something else at any given time. But when it's Air Force One, the president is on the airplane.
Oh, okay. So if he's not on it, it's Air Force 2?
Well, it has a different call sign, but Air Force 2 might be, Kamala or whatever they're calling her now. So it might be another dignitary. But it will not be the president.
Oh, okay.
On Air Force 2. Air Force 1 is reserved for the president, and they have a pretty good stable of airplanes. They got Gulfstreams. They have 757s, which you'll see. Some of these, like the Secretary of State, won't come in on a 747. He'll come in on a 757, which they have all kinds of airplanes.
Then they just name that one Air Force One? They just transfer the name over?
If he goes on a 757 to get into a shorter airport that the 74 can't get in on, then that aircraft becomes Air Force One.
What if he jumps on a Super Cub and he wants to go hunting?
That's Super Cub 1.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah, we got Super Cub 1 coming in on a gravel bar.
Yeah, everybody stay out of the area. Whoop, there's a bear. Get him out of here. Yeah. It's a Russian bear.
So in Glennallen, when you guys were in high school playing sports, what were some of the other schools you guys played against? And what were the main sports?
Yeah, so we,
wrestling?
Wrestling, yeah. So wrestling, basketball, that, we, for hockey, we played, growing up, we played Northway, Delta, Toke, later in Kenny Lake, some Fairbanks.
Salcha?
So not Salcha.
They never had hockey?
Not Salcha, no. Monroe, there was Skyview and Nikiski, some ones down on the peninsula there, and it's like, now I have a daughter and she plays, and I'm like, God, I need to tell my mom thanks more. It's like, we don't travel much, but my mom would jump in the Suburban, and she was the chiropractor, team doctor, and she'd go for fucking Glennallen, and we're in a bus or a van, and we go down to Nikiski. She just like loads up and just goes, and it's like no questions asked, no nothing. She's there watching the games. Kids get hurt, she's doing her thing, or up to Fairbanks, and I complained. I'm like, oh, we had a practice tonight and tomorrow night, and game on the weekend, and it's like I didn't have to drive, fucking 600 miles every goddamn weekend for 5-6 months, and so it's a little eye opening, being a parent now and doing the hockey thing, and yeah.
Well, it was worth it for her,
parents.
right?
Yeah.
I mean, look at your hockey career.
Oh yeah. I made it pro. I'm on double shovel team. Second line defense.
You're really sneaky though. You'll get that puck and then somehow just dangle by everyone and score goals, and you're like, we should just give it to Galen more often.
Yeah, right. Yeah, and then I
can't score goals.
Does the super slow mo deke move? Just
black out and then go on the bench and puke. Yeah, it's good. I mean, I paid for a lot of nothing from hockey, so it was good.
You get a lot of chicken strips after the game.
Yeah, it's nice of you to give your mom a shout out. And I'm a hockey parent too.
Right.
And the commitment level just in town or going to the valley or even just a trip to Fairbanks.
Right.
All right. That's 2 hotel nights, dinners, the whole thing.
yeah.
And I mean, it's fun. A hockey trip, a sports trip is just fun in general, but to load up a Suburban and have to do
The whole team.
Alaskan roads in the 90s.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? 600 miles. Okay. The highways weren't like they are today.
Oh yeah.
There wasn't a 4-laner on the Seward Highway from Acres to Girdwood.
Yeah.
Back in 91.
Yeah.
Remember that little sketchy where the bike trail is now?
Oh, yeah.
How it went up on the cliff and
Yeah.
and you're going from Glennallen down to Nikiski.
Oh yeah. Yeah, that's a haul. I mean, and too, like the coaches for me growing up were like, all right, whose dad's not working this winter? Okay, there's 3. All right, out of those dads, who can actually make it to practice and is not hammered drunk? One-ish. You're the head coach, and in no part of that they had to know anything about hockey. So it was just like warm body on the bench, and it's like, I mean, we had coaches that were just like, one of our just like. Knew nothing about hockey, knew nothing about, but they were just a warm body. And like, growing up, it's like my mites coach was like our best coach. She actually knew the game, and she, kind of, progressed a lot of kids into like, then the squirts and the peewees. And it was, our peewee coach was like, just some dude's dad. And he's like, slapped a kid on the ass, and he's, it's a mission town. He's like, Coach, why do you do that? He's like, well, I slap you on the ass so you think I'm gay, so you skate faster. It's like, what? Kid's like, I'm so confused.
I'm going to skate out of here.
Yeah, and it's like, and we're just like, oh, I guess that's normal, our high school coach, super, and, they'll learn, it's like, they had a kid on the team, so he did a lot of research and, just, make them skate, make them, do drills, and you do the best you can. And we had, I think, 2 or 3 out of the 4 years in high school, we had 8 guys, I think, so it was like, you skated a lot. And we actually, this was before like the water boy, we actually had our manager like suit up. So we put him on the ice, and he'd grab the boards and work his way up and down just to give some guy, a breather. So we'd still have 5 guys on the ice, and he'd come down, and he's like, I'm a varsity player. We're like, yeah, man, you get a letter. Yeah, it's different world, different time, but yeah, it's
well, it's just like for anyone that's into the outdoors and the fishing and the hunting and all that stuff, that's just got to be the best place to be situated as a kid. Who were you guys? Was your dad a hunter and a fisherman taking you out, or was it kind of like you and your friends learning it?
No, he was. I mean, I don't like a sportsman. No, like hunter and fisher. Like we lived a subsistence lifestyle, even though my parents were both chiropractors, and by subsistence lifestyle, I mean freezer's empty. He's like, all right, got to go hunt. And so I really didn't know like if there was regulations and if there was hunting seasons until later in life. And it was like the Nelchina herd used to come across we lived on a runway, and Nelchina herd would come across once in a while. And my old man's like, looked out the window. He's like, all right, boys, grab a gun. Open the garage door, pop, drag them in, and, we'd butcher them and put them in the freezer. And I'm just like, yeah, that's normal, right? And
yeah.
Or, it's like, grab a gun on the weekend and drive them down the road up to Paxton and back, and, there's a moose or a cow or a calf or, anything, right?
Yeah.
By the way, if there's any cops, this never happened. But,
no one's listening yet.
Yeah. But so we got meat when we needed it, and not to say that it wasn't season and he didn't have tags and stuff, but it's just like
good answer.
In my head, it was like you get meat when you need it, and you eat it, and you don't waste anything. It's not like you're just doing it for fun, but I mean you do it for fun, but shoot it, gut it, put it in the back of the truck, and bring it home. And there's a couple of times in Dillingham, we go up Nushiak, and we do a lot of squirrely things where it's like. His kind of mantra was like, he's like, oh yeah, you're 15, you can't go to jail. It's like,
so we're good.
I didn't know what that meant till later in life. And we didn't have.
Now you tell your daughter that.
He was like, he did it. Yeah. He's only 15, so we're good.
Oh no, he told me that a couple times, but you're out, you're out in the shit, and his gear. So like growing up, like. We didn't have the gear. We didn't have the, like he had an old, 16-foot Lund with a 50 horse outboard or little tiller. And we go across Nushiak Bay, and it's like, I mean, it's a gnarly set of water. So we go down the Wood River, go across Noosh and go up the Nushiak, and it's like just, with the essentials, 8 cases of Budweiser, a couple ham sandwiches, and like,
no life jackets.
No life, no. Like, I mean,
that takes up room for the beer.
And it was like our gear was like like the sheet you get like you go to Walmart, and it's like what's like the cheapest stuff that somebody coming up from they're like Columbia, like it's like paper thin shit. Like that's what we had. Like we didn't, all the old like black mud boots that were just, they came, pre-holed, and it's like you're always wet, you're always cold, you're always miserable, and I just thought that's what hunting was. I was like, you got to be tough, you got to, and then later in life you find out like, well, you spend a little bit of money and you get all these, like whether you're snow machining or hunting, it's like you can get good gear and enjoy the experience more. And I was like, my dad was a cheap bastard, and it was like that on top of just like not giving a shit. He's just like, he's back there just frosting the beard, cracking beers, and he's just buzzing across the bay, and we're in the front of the boat, like just trying not to die, and we're just like, oh god, this is
taking spray, just
just miserable, and it's like, and going, I don't know, 10, 20 knots, or like whatever that boat would go, it'd take like 6 hours to get there, and you're just like, this is bullshit. This is like, it's not worth anything, and and you forget about it after a while. But so there was, early in life, it was kind of like you get meat, and
he's going to have nightmares tonight.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I'm reliving a lot of memories.
So tell us about your darkest secrets.
My darkest secrets.
Therapy. This is therapy night.
Yeah. Well, so one time we were going across. So, if anybody's been to, Western Alaska, Bristol Bay area, like growing up there, it was like every day you wake up, you open, the window or the door, and it's, 50 degrees and kind of raining and kind of shitty and dark and gray. And that's 90% of the weather all the time. And so this one weekend we're like, all right, we're going to go caribou hunting. And we were up at the lake, Lake, and he had a house on an island, which was badass, honestly. And we loaded up there, 5 a.m. We go, you motor across in this small ass boat. You go down the Wood River, and we're like, okay, we'll hit high tide just perfectly, and we did. And it was Bluebird 65, 70, and there's a beluga whale beach right in front of town, like where you kind of cut out of a Wood River, and we're just like, oh shit. He pulls up, he's like, oh, the natives love it if you cut it up for them. I was like, okay, I don't know that, so he didn't have a knife on him. He pulled out his chainsaw.
Oh my god!
And we roll up on the beach, and I'm sitting. And it was just me and him on this one, and he rolls up, and he's like, "All right," and you cut it down the brisket, and you cut the flippers off, and I don't know what he didn't know what he's doing. He just thought like he was doing the right thing, and so it's 70 degrees. Just if you imagine what sawdust pile is after you cut down a tree, imagine that with beluga guts and snot and shit, and he's and he's like, oh, I've always wanted a beluga skull. Cuts the head off, puts it in a bucket, and by this, it was like 2 hours after this, and we're just like, and in my head, I'm like, I guess this is normal. I didn't ask any questions. I'm just like, whatever. And so we're covered in shit and guts and fat.
Beluga fat.
And we got a head in the fucking boat now, and he's like, all right, let's go. And we take it across off the bay, and we're going, and now we're missing tide, and so we're just like, right before the Nushagak, there's like, when tide,
tidal flat.
Yeah, when tide starts rolling out, it rolls fast, and so we're just like, and I can kind of see now he's a little concerned. He's like, oh fuck, he's like, trying to like dodge all this like mud shit, and he's like, nee. We look up, there's this like beautiful blonde sow, 2 cubs, just like, bounding in the grass, and we're like, oh, that's cool, and he's like, ring, and we're like, oh shit, it's starting to ground out, so, probably a quarter mile from that, we pull up in this slough, and we're like, all right, well, this is getting real, so we, pull out our guns, and we're like, trying to see if we can see the bear, because we're, marinated now, fully marinated.
Just dry docked?
Dry dock, yeah. So we pull up, and we're now I'm now dry covered.
I'll have you pull that a little closer to you.
Yeah, so we're now dry covered in beluga snot, and we pull up, and I'm at the time 5 foot tall, and the grass is 6 foot tall, so I'm like, I don't see anything. I think we're good. So we walk around for 15, 20 minutes and sit back down in the boat, and I had my gun, he had his gun, and we're like pointing, we're like, okay, we're ready just in case anything happens. And we both fell asleep for like 3 hours. If I can wake up, there's flies buzzing around and shit. It was just like, oh, gee, oh, and and it was just like, I'm sure those bears are just like fucking these little, white boys in this boat, and it's like a fully marinated, Mongolian barbecue dish, and so. Well, I mean, luckily we didn't die, and it all worked out. But high tide came up, and we went on our way and went upriver. But we had a fucking beluga head in the boat, and we're like, it's like, that's not legal.
Does you guys still have the skull somewhere?
I cannot confirm or deny that.
It's somewhere. We know that.
Yeah. Let's take a quick second here to give a shout out to some of the sponsors.
Barney Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. Barney specializes in supplying hunters with the absolute best Alaskan-proven gear on the market for some of nature's most rugged and demanding terrain. Whether you're headed to the remote volcanic islands of the Alaska Peninsula in search of a brown bear, or the shale-infested glacial valleys of the Brooks Range for Dall sheep, it is critical you choose the right gear for your dream hunt. Don't miss Barney's exclusive brand, Frontier Gear of Alaska, tested from the high mountains of Tajikistan to the extreme conditions of Alaska. These products were designed for high performance and durability. Frontier Gear was derived from decades of experience hunting big game in Alaska. Paired with other top brands, it provides you the absolute best gear selection anywhere in the world. Stop in at Barney Sports Chalet in Anchorage on Northern Lights, or check out their custom website and reference tool at barneysports.com.
Arbor Digital, based in Anchorage, Alaska, is your go-to wealth management company. Arbor Digital is at the forefront of digital assets and cryptocurrencies. If you've been looking to invest your hard-earned money or just want to learn more about crypto, blockchain technology, or digital investments, give their website, acminc.com, a visit. What's great about Arbor is they provide a low-cost, transparent, research-based investment strategy for digital assets and traditional investments as well. acminc.com is your first step in putting your money to work. Let one of Arbor's investment professionals walk you through your options for financial growth and security. Start investing for the future today at acminc.com. Arbor Digital, your Alaskan digital asset company.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience. At Total Truck, you can find brands such as ARE, RSI Smart Caps, Goose Gear, iCamper, Front Runner, Rigid Lights, Rhino Linings bed liners, and everything you need to outfit your truck or SUV. Alaska Overlander provides 4x4 vehicles and expedition trailers, custom modified for Alaskan adventures and outfitted with rooftop tents, fridges, and all the camping and cooking gear you need to start exploring. Visit them at alaskaoverlander.com.
I want to get into one of the main reasons that we want to bring Galen in here is because you, within the last 2 years, have pretty much gone through the entire 2 years or 3 years, the entire process of building pretty much your own cabin, which is a lifelong dream of mine. Not necessarily build it myself, but to have one. And I think it's on the list of a lot of Alaskans.
Alaska
Rich. Yeah, that's actually a really good way to put it.
Yeah, that's my Alaska Rich anyway.
Yeah. So I kind of want to walk through, and we have your Instagram here pulled up on the.
You do those Euros yourself, Galen?
The what's that?
Those
the Euros?
You do those yourself?
These?
Oh no! Actually, my buddy, guy I grew up with in Glennallen, Kyle Virgin. Yeah, shout out. I don't know his gram, whatever hashtag Insta post, but I can give you that. He has the whole beetle deal, and he's out in the valley.
Full go.
Yeah, he does good work, and
it's beautiful.
Super. Yeah, he's super good work, and buddy of mine, and growing up, it was like he was one of the guys I went to kindergarten with, and so.
One of those five?
One of the five. One of the five, yeah.
Glennallen 5.
Doctors, taxidermists.
5 still alive, yeah.
Air Force 2 pilot.
Taxidermist, we got it all.
Range all over.
Anything you need, come to Glennallen, Alaska, hub of Alaska.
They do actually have everything you need in that store.
Sparks Place. Yeah. You ever been to Sparks Place?
Are you talking about the Ace?
No, Sparks Place.
No.
What?
Go there.
Sparks
Where
Place?
is it?
Sparks?
Dude, it's like right before the hub. On the right, it's the other gas station. That's
That's the Ace. No, not Ace. They're it goes way deep.
They got like the half done, dude.
Yeah.
Go there and just. I mean, believe me when I say they got everything.
I
They got crystal figurines of fairies next to a bong. You can get a fresh, semi-fresh pizza.
I'm pretty sure we like outfitted the second end of a moose hunt one time. Oh, all the shit we forgot.
They got it all. They got it all. They got fine china. They got Dixie cups. Whatever you need. They got. And I went to school with that guy too. Like, yeah. And his mom was my bus driver.
So isn't one of the...
I'm not joking, guys. I don't know why you're laughing. This is true. 100% true.
You can't make this shit up, Galen.
No,
that's why I'm laughing. I know it's true.
100% true.
That's why I'm laughing. You can't make it up.
Isn't one of the biggest sheep up there too?
In Sparks Place, or
no? It's like
in Glennallen.
Yeah, it's what's the story? It's like one of the the hardware shops or whatever. The husband died, but he had shot it, and you have to ask the lady up front to go see it, and it's like number 2 or 1 in the world.
So yeah, there's a what is his name? I'm spacing it out, but yeah, their family owned the Taslina. I think the Horrells, I think. They were like big time hunters, and yeah, they grew up. Yeah, they did a lot of like safari stuff and Alaskan stuff, and we got some friends that now guide, kind of same kind of family, core family. But yeah, he's done a lot of really unique Alaskan hunts. But I don't know that.
Yeah, I'll have to get the deets, but I've heard the deets a few different times, and it's like you have to go in. You got to go a bookstore, and you have to ask the lady, and then password. She'll be like, "Oh yeah, I'll show it to you," and then you bring her. She brings you to the back.
You got to sign a paper, and
you got to rent a miserable paradise.
But it's like one of these like 50-inch dolls, from like OG Wrangles.
Yeah. A lot of the
historic times.
Yeah, we got a bunch of buddies that guide still out of there, and they're. Now 3rd generation guides, and they're they do good work, and they're from way back, and they're just like salt of the earth people, and kind of where we hunt now is like kind of where their kind of core lodge is, and they're just they're good at what they do, but they're not flashy, they don't advertise, and it's all kind of like they handpick their people, and they're just solid people.
Cool.
Yeah.
They're not bouncing Super Cubs off Super Cubs on runways.
I mean, they got Super Cubs. They bounce Super Cubs.
They're bouncing around
just like anybody else does.
The normal amount,
the regular amount,
the regular amount of. I don't know what that is, but yeah.
Were you as I have been looking for a cabin? Did you go through the same process where like you're gonna try to find a place, you kind of know what you want? Eventually you realize you can't find that place, and so you decide to build your own? Or did you always want to just be a part of the process?
That's like the question for the, of the millennia, right? It's like, you start off and you're like, what do I want, right? Do you want something road accessible? Do you want to have your family out there every weekend? Do you want something fly-in only that you don't see another human for weeks at a time? Do you want it, somewhere in between? And, our process really started, we had a cabin on a little, we call it a lake, but it was a pond, on Big Lake. And we're just like, we were looking, we sold a property here in town. We had some money, and we're just like, well, let's get a vacation spot, and we found this place, and it was like, it was pretty prime, and that's actually where I met you, Jack. That was our, I
got a good story about that night.
You got me a little whiskey drunk, and I ended up doing some work for you. But so we found this place, and we loved it. First year we were out every weekend. And I think our daughter was really young, like 2, 3, something like that. But we're out there every weekend. We'd hour door to door, and loved it. And then just some whatever happened in the state, SB 91 and. 7 break-ins later, we were just like, all right, we're over this. And so we ended up selling, and, we just kind of sat on that cash for a while, and we're just like, reevaluate what you want to do. And, I always loved Talkeetna, and, I had some buddies that have had cabins out there, and I helped them build throughout the years. And, it's like everybody has their like spot, right? It's like we looked at, Cooper Landing, and we looked at, kind of my mom actually lives on a lake, and she had some, some places that she's like, just take some land. And, Glennallen to me is like a little too far for like, a weekend getaway. And so, we just, and so, and then also, we talked about it for a while, and, and COVID hit, and we're just like, feeling a little squirrely, and we're just like, hey, found some property, and kind of didn't lowball them, but we're just like, well, it was like right at the market took a shit and everything, we're just like, we don't know what's going on. Like we could be, zombie apocalypse next year. And, so we're just like, well, we gave them an offer and they accepted, and raw land and, road accessible. And so we ended up just, doing a road and a pad, and kind of we're like, well, we'll figure it out from here. And what eventually happened was we're like, kids young, we want to enjoy this. We don't want to spend 10 years building it, because by then our daughter's gonna be out of the house. And so we're just like, let's, full mash on the gas and, watch a couple of YouTubes. And, we're just like, well, I think we can, we'll figure out how to frame this up. And we got it weathered in, and, we closed, I think, at the end of May, and got the road and pad put in, and spent every weekend out there just, slogging. Had some friends come out and, helping, framing and sheeting and, insulating and all that. So we had it weathered in a year, which is a lot better than a lot of people. I talked to my buddy that, I helped him build his, which is across the tracks. And he's like, I was like, oh, how long did it take you to build? He's like, well, I bought it in 2012. I'm like, well, how long did it take you to build? He's like, I'm still working on it, so it's, it's a commitment, it's kind of whatever your program is. If you want to be, in the middle of nowhere and not see a human, you can do that. It's just more time and money. And we're on the road system. We can get there in 2 hours, and we're, we got a lake, we got, trails and fishing and all that. So it's, there's upsides to everything.
Make it happen.
Yeah,
get it going.
Yeah.
What was the thought process? Because as I probably looked at 200 cabins and just all these designs, and every time I'm like, anywhere ice fishing or whatever, I'm always like, oh, that one's cool, that looks cool, this one looks cool, I like that design. Like what led you guys to what you decided to do with your cabin? Is there a name for this style?
Yeah, this is called the back of a napkin style. We honestly, like, I've like I said, I've helped buddies build cabins, and you see the standard Alaskan cabin, and I want to do something just a little bit different, a little more modern. And so we did the shed style roof, and the front side's all, south facing. So we, it's kind of more just like wanted it light and bright, and, and like, no shit, it was a graph paper and a pencil. And we're like, well, this looks about right. And so, that's all. Like my buddy there, he was one of the ones that helped build, and, had the deck out front, and it's just all the windows we got off Craigslist, and our dog sitting there sunning her touche, and it's you kind of wing it. I mean, it's that's kind of the Alaskan way, right? You're like, well, I've done a lot of we've remodeled a lot of places, and I kind of started my career in the oil industry, and through that we've bought and remodeled and flipped houses, and everything we've done. And it really goes back to like growing up, like we were talked about, growing up in Glennallen. It's, how many times a year your water freezes up, and, you Anchorage boys, you just call Central Plumbing and Heat it. They come out and they fix it. And
we call it tailored restoration.
Tailored restoration, yes, tailored restoration. They'll come and fix it. and so if Tailored Restoration would like a satellite company in Glennallen, there's nobody to call. It's like, you may know a buddy that knows how to work on a furnace, but there really is nothing out there. So, you figure it out. If you want hot water or you want water, my mom was not going to be diving down into the well house and like fixing plumbing. She's like, you guys got to figure this out. So we're out there, headlamps and, putting Quest pipe back together. And, it's like, because of that, you kind of learn to be self-sufficient, and you learn to like, you don't need to pay people to do what you can do yourself. And later in life, the wonderful world of YouTube comes along, and you're just like, well, I got to figure out how
put
to
it all together.
Yeah. You're like, how do you frame a house? Like, YouTube. It's like, you do this. And it's like, it's the easiest shit in the world. Like, you just, if you're an able-bodied human, you can figure out a lot of stuff, right?
Yeah. Swing some tools around.
Yeah.
Is it a dry cabin?
It is dry. We got a little, last year we put in an on-demand hot water heater, little setup that's 12 volt. So we have, it's kind of set up like an RV. You got the battery bank and an inverter. And so and it's set up for solar panels, but we don't have those quite yet. And so, this coming up year, we're going to do solar panels. And so that'll be pretty much self-sufficient.
On the roof?
So I want to do a pole barn. We got we put a
generator there.
Yeah, so we put a deposit in on a sawmill in April last year. It's still not in, but once we get that, then we'll start, hopefully sawing some of the timbers up we have on the property, and do a pole barn, and then, put solar panels up on that. And
what kind of trees are you going to use?
So we got a bunch of birch out there. There's a little bit of dead standing spruce, which, those are always prime for using right away. And the birch you got to season quite a bit. But so and the thing for cabins, a lot of people, and if you're the type of person that just wants a turnkey, don't have to deal with anything, getting a cabin's kind of a hard concept to kind of grasp, because to me it's like a cabin's an ongoing process, right?
It's like going in a boat.
Yeah. So if you go back one picture, so the inside of where you go in the entryway door. Oh yeah, that's my big red tractor. Yeah, no big deal.
From Branson.
Yeah. So where the door is, you talk to everybody, and everybody has the perfect cabin, right? And because this was designed on the back of a napkin, I did not have the perfect cabin. So, you have 10 people in there in a weekend, and you're like, well, shit, I don't have an Arctic entryway. I thought my entryway was big enough, and so now I'm trying to how do you, kind of
extend something off?
How do you add on? And we just did the siding, and it's God, it's done, and so you got to do that.
You got to rip it off.
Yeah, right. So it's and then I want to build a sauna and all this other stuff, and it's just kind of part of the process is building it, part of the process is being there, right? And so it's your family enjoys it, your kids, you grow up.
We want to modify this.
Yeah, right. And it's and then for me, it's you go out on the weekends, and you're I'm not just going to sit out here and drink beer. I gotta do something, and then you can drink beer. So it's like a little reward at the end. So,
what was the thought process on the placement on the pad? And I noticed that you have all the main windows are not facing probably the entryway. They're all facing into the forest.
It's all west.
Yeah, so those are all south facing.
Yeah.
So I wanted the cabin to be 150 degrees at all times in the summer. like a good loft cabin is. You fire up the wood stove, and it's magma hot upstairs. You're sweating balls. You can't sleep. So I didn't want anybody to be comfortable really, but I just wanted a lot of light. Inside there's kind of the left side there. It's full. From top to bottom. There's it's wide open, and then there's a 16-foot loft from from that sliding glass door to the right of there. So we got tons of room for family and friends, and there's a little kitchen and little
Is there a picture from the inside in here?
There might be.
Are you planning to clear all those south-facing birch and then just have it just beaming in? Or are you going to keep it shaded?
I think you clear cut, and that's kind of like a valley move, right? You got.
I feel like I would if I were you.
Yeah.
Just kind of
Yeah. So we got 20. We got 20 acres, and initially I was we'll clear out, a nice little swath.
Open it up.
But
the Buitragos are coming in.
But the elevation to clear, 100-foot tall trees to get any sun or view, it's you have to clear 1,000 trees, and it's just it's a lot of work. And so and also it's kind of nice to have a little cabin in the woods.
Yeah, don't do that if that's what it's going to take.
How's the skeeters?
Oh, well.
They're really good.
Yeah. There's I don't know what's mosquito. I don't know.
Well, I actually need to backcheck, because I think the worst mosquito-ridden place I ever been to was
Glennallen.
It was Clatina.
Oh yeah,
Clatina.
Yeah.
We went off to the right and went go fishing up the river a bit. And it was the worst camp.
Clatina Lake Road.
Yeah.
Were you with us?
No, but I know the road. I've been up there.
Okay.
I took my pregnant baby mom up there. And,
oh my god!
And it was the worst experience ever.
Yeah. So growing up in Glennallen, Tulsona, kind of lake is all of
where all the mosquitoes come from?
Glennallen, they're born and bred in the devil's anus. The Copper River Valley.
Is that where they spawn?
They spawn, and they're just fuck you and you and you. We're gonna kill all of you. Yeah, we're gonna make you miserable. It's bad. And so the first weekend we had out there, we had the pad cleared, and we're just so pumped. We've got the property, we got got it leveled, and we pulled our camper out there, go out, and we're just have a little bonfire, have some beers, and then we're all right, shut it down. Go in the cabin, and it was quiet for 20 minutes, and then you hear it's zzz, zzz. We're what the fuck? Zzz, zzz, zzz. We turn on the lights, and there was 5 million mosquitoes. I don't know how they got in. They were flying in, through the engine into the, it was insane. We literally we made a mistake. This is not cool. And so we kind of, shut her down from that, did our thing that weekend, came back the next weekend, and I was well, I guess I'm going to sleep with a thermocell like underneath my chest and like citronella candles all around. And like, I'm just going to spray DEET around my face. Like, and it honestly wasn't bad after the first, weekend or two. And
you cleared it out.
I'm sorry. So yeah, it was bad to begin with, and it was a little off-putting. But after that, it was honestly not bad.
That area seems to be the worst, like between like June 7th and the 21st, and then it kind of settles down a little.
Yeah, especially coming from Glennallen, it's like I got a high tolerance.
I bet.
Yeah. So
Lake Louise, 4th of July.
Oh yeah. Yeah.
Is there any of you guys in the room? Is there one contraption that is the best, like mosquito ridding area? I know they sell like the mosquito magnet, and then there's like the light, but under your actual experience, is there one that's like, this is the one you need?
So my mom for years, like when mosquito magnets first came on the market, they're like $1,000 a piece. And she's like, and she had her lake property, and she bought like 5 of them. She's like, fuck mosquitoes. I'm going to this is what I'm going to do. She invested like a ton of money. And the first year it was like, helped a little bit. Second year helped a little bit. Third year was like, she's like, there's no mosquitoes here. Like, and she's working. Like, you're emptying these little bags that are like the size of a softball, and there's like 400 million mosquitoes in there, and you're just like, every day you're doing that. They worked for her, but it takes a while. And for us, like,
she cleared them out of the area.
Yeah, it just kind of, and I don't know if there's science behind that or if it was just like placebo.
I've heard that. Well, more like people from the hillside that have 2 acres or something, but it worked after years.
Right. And so we run a couple thermocells, like, if you're, doing bonfire, you put a couple thermocells there and a couple citronellas, and honestly, like, it is not bad. Like,
those thermocells work really good.
I don't know what kind of voodoo they got, but those are for us. They work.
Yeah.
So
they should have like the huge thermocell.
Yeah, you put in like a large Moose's Tooth pizza sized thermocell thing over your bonfire, and you're just like crank it up, and you just get these like cancer pops on your face. You're like, well, we got no mosquitoes.
Might be worth it.
Might be worth it. Yeah, it might be. So
wood stove.
Yeah, so it's kind of funny. So this wood stove is a Yodel stove, circa 1989, I think. My mother-in-law and father-in-law bought it brand new out in the valley, and she just sold her house, and she's like, oh, you guys want this? And she never used it. And so we're like, I mean, they used it growing up, but the last 10 years she didn't use it. And we're like, yeah, we got a cabin, we need a wood stove. So she sold her house, and in the sale she just said doesn't include that. And so we hauled that out there. It was only like 450 pounds, so it was worth it.
Yeah, it looks awesome.
Yeah, you just set it right on the floor like that.
Yeah. I mean, we set it there because we couldn't move it anywhere else because it's so goddamn heavy. and it was free, and so that with the stovepipe and all the other shit, it cost like $4,000. So it was it was all worth it. So
they have like a little cooking thing on top? Like a little cast iron thing?
No, so it's so you can the way these are set up, you can run it out the back like we did, and then the top's flat, and we have one of those piezoelectric, kind of
the little fan things.
And then the front, you can't really see it, but the front, the door folds down, and it's underneath it right now. You can see the handle kind of sticking out the front.
Yeah. It folds out and then up. Close it?
Yeah, so as it is right there, you can run it as like an open firebox, like a regular, or you can close it up, lock it down, and then dial it down to have like a all night burn. So,
do you let Thompson touch
no, 100% no.
Just melts his hand out there.
I think the ignition point on that cabin's like 1,450,000 Fahrenheit, and he would have that thing red hot, like instantaneously, as he's chuckling.
Is there pros or cons to when you put up that stovepipe and it goes out the wall versus the roof, or is that just like, we already put the roof up, so now we got to go out the wall?
Yeah, funny story. So I built the place, not doing any research, like I said, back in the napkin, and I went into I can't even remember what it was actually right around here. It was. It wasn't Moore's, one of the fireplace stores up in Dowling, and go into and the guy was like, oh yeah, I remember that stove. Like he was like 150 years old, and he's like, oh yeah, we used to sell those. They suck. And I'm like, okay, cool.
That's what I got.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, well my plan was to like shoot it out the side of the house and just go then vertical. And I didn't want
straight out and then up.
Yeah, I didn't want any roof penetrations because I'm lazy, and I also just didn't want any like leaks in the roof. And he's like, no, I'm not going to sell you that. He's like, you're an idiot. I'm like, well, that's what I want to do. He's like, he's like the temperature, the cold will conduct on the stovepipe and it'll just backdraft and you'll have a terrible time trying to get a fireplace or a fire going. And he's like, you need to go vertical through your ceiling and just poke through your ceiling. And I was like, that's not what I want to do. But he's a pro. So I ended up doing that. And he was right. 100% right.
Oh, so it's a backdraft. It's a backdraft deal.
Well, yeah. So, you're starting a fire and it's 20 below outside. Inside it's also 20 below. And so you start a fire and that, cold, dense air is, you got
driving down.
You got a column of 20, really cold air trying to drive it back down. So trying to get that heat to go up that pipe, it just doesn't work. And so he said, at least you can get a little bit of heat inside the cabin to then draw that heat up and not have.
Could you have gone right before the roof and then out?
So there's also a concept there where it's like, the angles, right? So every 90 degrees you lose a certain amount. And so I was like,
I'm on a draft.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So you can
suction.
Yeah. So you don't see a lot of stovepipes going like a Dr. Seuss stovepipe. Yeah, Dr. Seuss did not do his research. Like that shit doesn't work.
Stop breathing.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
Or they're burning better shit than we
Well, that's funny you say that because a lot of houses, even back in the day, like my house, that was one of the things when I bought it that was on the inspection because it would just come. It came straight out the house and up. Mm-hmm. And they didn't have like the box around it insulated because obviously it gets cold and then it like traps it in there.
Yeah.
So that was like one of the couple things that we had to
it
do.
pass.
And I see so many, like I never knew that. And now I just see so many houses. I'm like, well, this
Just notice it.
Yeah, notice like 10 of my neighbors, dude. No, like 10 of my neighbors don't have the insulated thing outside.
Yeah. Yeah. And it's just science. You know? Nobody may understand it, but it works all the time.
Was there any
80% of the time?
Works every time.
What's up with the spacing there on the right side?
So I put the Tyvek up upside down, and I think the warranty's voided because I did that. So we won't tell Tyvek about that if we have any claims.
It appears you only put the top half.
Yeah, that's a custom job right there.
It's like a little. So what's the difference?
Nothing.
It's just upside down.
It's just upside down.
Well, how do you know the label's on the upside down and you did it right?
Oh, touche.
Oh, there you go.
You don't know.
What other mishaps might have occurred?
Well, so I didn't really realize how heavy how heavy lumber is when you put that. So it's 24 left to right, 24 feet. So me and my wife and ended up to be my mother-in-law helped us lift that wall, and it was like I don't know, it weighed like 100,000 pounds. It felt like. So we got it up. I was like, holy shit! Like you feel that that twinge in your spine, and you feel like you're gonna shit out of.
Well, you had your mom right there.
Well, mother-in-law. She's like a 70-year-old librarian. So it's
you didn't get the back crack.
Yeah. I didn't have your kindergartner come and he didn't
back cracker.
He didn't come and snap my neck, but was
that the Glennallen mascot, the backcrackers?
Yeah, the backcrackers. No, actually, appropriately, we were the Black Panthers.
Wow!
Really?
Yeah.
Really? Glennallen's the Black Panthers?
Well, the Panthers, but our mascot was a Black Panther.
We were totems, Tudor totems. But then we got the vote.
Very soft.
I was part of the vote in 6th grade. Like they changed the they changed the mascot of the school, and to this day, it's still the Thundercats.
That's funny.
Because that was the most popular thing, like the Tudor Thundercats, Thundercats.
Daniel's the mascot. He has a sword. He's like, this is, I don't know what he does, to rule them all.
That's a way that at least let the kids pick. At O'Malley, when I was in 4th grade, we were the Bumblebee, or the Yellow Jackets. The Yellow Jackets.
Oh, that's
Everyone was the Yellow
Bumblebee.
Jackets. And I mean, there's still people that roll, like Marta, Stewart's wife. She still rolls the O'Malley, Yellow Jackets. But so we went to go vote and pick and shit, and all the PTA moms at O'Malley Elementary decided that we're going to be the malamutes. The kids didn't even get a fucking vote. Just a bunch of PTA moms. No, your idea sucks.
We're going to be mom already had it figured out. She's like, yeah, you're the malamutes.
It was
they're
bullshit.
like, we want to be the O'Malley Pikachu's.
Thundercat sounds
Thundercat's
legit.
badass.
Actually, I wonder if it's still that.
You got a Letterman jacket with like the Thundercat. You get like one like sword for each.
You're almost a transformer.
What exactly is a Thundercat? I mean, is that a?
It's a cat.
It's a cartoon.
It's a human cat.
Well, you
thing
can
with
look
a
up
sword.
like a sea wolf. Okay.
Yeah.
That
That's
has a
actual
meaning.
thing. Yeah.
It's like a beach
I'll
dwelling
look it up.
wolf.
a mystical.
Okay,
beast.
what's a Thundercat?
They're transformers that are cats.
It's
that
Tudor
can
Elementary
join each
alumni,
other.
dog.
And then they get a big sword and they become like this
Got it.
mega transformer thing that
Yeah.
fucks shit up.
It was like the
They
beautiful
can fly in space.
80s cartoons where none of
can I
it
get out
made
of this?
sense. And you're just like, as a kid, I remember being like, "This is the shit." And now my daughter, like when your kids
So
watch
take it for
cartoons, you're just
granted,
like,
too, man.
like cartoons are, they're garbage.
They're so
you know?
whack, dude.
Oh, it's a musician.
Oh, Mr. Thundercat. Hey, October 19, 1994.
I love his hair.
Look at the
Mike,
Thundercat.
you know about the
dude.
Thundercats?
Can we have a little?
That's
You know
crazy.
anything
That's the
about
first thing that
Thundercats?
comes up.
Never
Right,
heard of the
Thundercats.
Thundercats.
You never heard of Thundercats?
Make it plural.
I have now. Sounds like a pretty mean team.
yeah, Thundercats are. Yeah,
I mean, yeah, it sounds like they'll kick your fucking ass.
there it
There you
is. Lino.
Oh,
Panthro, Snorf.
They look. Yeah, they were woke
Oh, I got
before.
my shows mixed up.
like what's the like definition?
Of a Thundercat?
Yeah.
I don't know if they're gonna
Scroll
have that.
it, baby. Scroll it.
I'll scroll
Like,
down and
yeah,
see what we see.
What was the
What
other
is
one?
that?
that were-
Is it Marvel or DC? It's an American media franchise featuring a fictional group of cat-like humanoid aliens.
So, like, one of your classmates was like Thundercats. Let's all
Not
vote
one
for
of us,
Thundercats.
all of us.
All of us,
dude.
yeah.
The Thundercats.
If it were our group, we'd be like the Ninja Turtles.
Yeah, it was
Like,
G.I. Joe.
You got away with
Thundercats.
naming your elementary school by your favorite DC character.
If you were 8 years
Okay,
old,
we're
what
gonna
would
look
you
right
do?
now.
Would you be like, we're going to be the
There's gotta
the linguists?
The Magpies.
the Thundercats, bro.
Oh shit!
Holy shit! It's
That
still
is.
up.
I just
look
found
at yeah.
Yo,
It's got
that's
native.
awesome.
yeah, it wasn't
art on
like
there.
that's not what we
That's good.
designed. I'll tell you that.
It's like a totem. Yeah.
Daniel, I think I might get a tat.
I was just thinking that, dude.
I honestly
I was just thinking that, dude. Me and Carlo are gonna get matching ones.
Yeah. If we could vote right now,
Just facing the
Thunder-
this is
Dude.
100% the best. My daughter goes to Rogers Park, and it's the Running Wolves.
Oh,
Like, there's not one you can't pick. Like, there's not one thing you can grab. It's a pack of running wolves. It's the Running Wolves.
oh.
It's just a bunch of wolves.
Is this the best?
As,
Is this
I
maybe
think
number
it's the
one?
best. I think
The
number one.
Thundercats, Tudor Elementary Thundercats, bro. I'm like
That
that
looks
just,
like, is that a lynx though? Like
It's
if
good.
we're humanizing the,
It looks kind of like a
it
cougar.
looks like it's pouncing.
I'm feeling
Pouncing.
Lynx.
It looks like they
Lynx.
kinda mixed
It's
it.
got a little beard.
Yeah,
it's got
you know?
the bobcat beard with,
Yeah.
and then also
with
Lynx
the native
beard.
tribal tats.
yeah,
Too.
Yeah, it's a
Right?
Yo, dude,
Thundercats.
that's like
Thunderbird.
30 years old, man.
2022. Right now, they are the Thundercats. Tudor
That's right.
Elementary.
Shout out to all the Thundercats.
And you were part of this vote.
I voted that in. You're welcome.
Yeah, you
What
probably.
was the logo then?
I couldn't speak English, but I knew Thundercat. See, yes, see, we
Thundercat.
like this.
Way better than the Malamutes.
I think we were the Susitna Wolverines.
That's good.
The Wolverines. That's
Yeah,
good. That's
yeah.
good.
I mean, that's
decent.
works.
That's decent. That's decent. What were you guys?
Thundercats
What was the
is
Glennallen? What was the Glennallen Elementary School?
Oh god, I don't think they were original. They were just the Panthers. The
Panthers
Your
was one
Panthers all the
still.
way through?
The little Panthers. I don't know.
From Baby Panther to
I guess there's Panthers up there now.
There's all
so
Panthers. There's just Panthers. Yeah.
You're
I
just
remember
ahead
like
of your time.
Yeah. Growing up, like you see that back room where like all the weird voodoo shit is, and like you see the old mascot like nobody's seen in 100 years, and his like eyes hanging out, and his whiskers are all fucked up, and you're like,
All frayed.
who paid money for this garbage like matted down like panther? And you're just like, fuck it, we'll put it on. You know, pep rally. Let's do this.
We're the Panthers. We're the Panthers.
Yeah, it scared a lot of other teams. Like, I mean, they were like, oh shit,
Like, wow,
These guys are real weird.
whoa, the
Whoa.
Panthers from Glennallen.
Those Glennallen boys, they will bite you.
well, I mean, Galen is into a lot of stuff. Like, obviously, you built the cabin and you have all these skills. Like, Galen actually made
I got a good story about
a few things that he's made.
So I mean, the day we met, this is to show the character that Galen has. So I mean, the first time we really spent time together was at Galen's old cabin, the
Big
one that got
Luke.
robbed like 9 times. It might have been Rob while we were there.
Was that in Mountain View or where was it?
Big Lake? Yeah.
Oh, Little Beaver, right?
Yeah, Beaver House.
Oh, more like Houston.
Beaver House Lake.
Oh, Beaver
in the heart.
Old Mountain View.
In the heart. Yeah, there was.
It was a cool cabin.
Yeah.
So I brought up some homemade distilled whiskey. First night in a new bro's cabin.
It's like a Jack Fireball.
Yeah. So we brought up some of that. I think it was cinnamon oak, right?
And I don't remember what it was, but it made me do a lot of weird things.
So we were also just starting double shovel at the time. So I was kind of like,
yeah, no, I'm getting that.
it's pretty damn good, dude. And it's distilled from apples, so it's kind of like a brandy, but I call it whiskey.
I don't remember.
Non-traditional. Anyway, so we're drinking some of that. I think Chris had too much and fell down in the woods.
He got pungied right in the face.
Yeah. And then Thompson was like, inspired to build a fire. Nothing new.
Yeah.
So me and you were rapping, and I was telling you that we're starting double shovel, and I wanted to build this giant concrete countertop, and I was gonna figure it out. And you're like, I'm a fucking pro at this. I had to own my own side biz. I got trained in where'd you get trained? San Francisco or something?
Oh yeah. Classically trained.
Yeah. And I was like, sweet, dude. I was like, you should give me some pointers. He's like, well, I'll just beat you in there on Monday.
I don't remember any of that. All I remember is I just do things and stuff, and we're having fun. And then the next day I was get a call. I was like,
I think it was the other way, because I wasn't going to call you.
Oh,
I wasn't going to call you about it, and you called
to make
me.
Sure he was going to be there.
I remember getting a call, being like, "Hey man, are you cool? Yeah, we talked about this." I'm like, "Yeah. What?" What?
What were you doing again?
And then I didn't want to be that guy that was like, "Oh, you're just drunk talking." I was like, "Yeah, I'll help you out. It's cool."
So we
follow through.
So we hardly knew each other. Well, we spent the night in a cabin. We got to know each other pretty good, and we drank my whiskey. But then Galen helped me build the whole countertop.
Sounds like a man
from scratch.
Experience.
I mean, Galen did it all, right?
The one that's at Double Shovel right now.
Yep. So Galen built that.
Did you sign it somewhere?
Yeah, it has a piece of me in every square foot.
You secretly peed on the bottom.
So we're doing stuff in there, and it was before they opened. So the whole back was it's a garage basically. We're doing stuff, and I'm kind of directing, and somebody's like, "Galen, give me that fucking hammer, goddamn it!" And I turn around, I'm like, "What? And they're like, "Oh no, other Galen." I'm like, "There's another Galen." And there is another Galen. I was like, yeah.
They got really upset about this. Both of them separately had a hard time because they had never met another Galen.
Yeah.
You're the only two Galens I know.
We were like two Thundercats.
Well, I've actually sent some fucked up texts to the other Galen thinking it was you.
I bet Galen loved that.
Have you seen my deck pic?
No, it was like a Gulkana, something funny. I was like, "You should fucking that's right." And he's like, "I'm the other Galen." But it was 7 days later, because he didn't have signal.
Yeah.
So if you ever want to see Galen Nelson blush, you just say, "Hey, you're the original Galen," and it makes him.
So now you're OG, the original Galen.
Yeah. It's
do we call the other Galen young Galen?
Galen calls him this Galen. OG Galen calls him the other Galen.
So they're both.
There can be only. It's like the Highlander.
Galen.
There can be only one.
Are you officially older than him?
I think so.
Yeah, I think you're 3 years older than him.
Oh, then you definitely win.
Yeah. You're about to turn 40?
Keep things simple here.
I'm flirting with 40. Yeah. 38.
Tell us a quick story about your brother. We won't tell you his name.
So my dad, the real sportsman, angler, all around Alaskan.
Skiff captain.
Captain of a schooner. I don't know what. So growing up in Dillingham, he had a lot of fans. He hung out. Single guy. Doctor. Had a.
Fans. That's a good way to put it.
He had his shit on lockdown, and so had a couple familiars, and ended up hanging out with one too long, and ended up with a brother late in life, and when he introduced me and my brothers to my now new brother, we're like, oh cool, cool. What's his name? He's like, Waylon. And I looked at him. I'm like, yeah, you realize my name is Galen. And he's like, yeah. It means the son of the wolf. And so I was like, so many questions. Like, so you think you're the wolf, or you think like this?
Or am I the wolf?
Anyway. So long story short, yeah. So we, Kobe, Cade, Galen, and Waylon are the core group of the Nelsons there. So
I never met the older brother. You're the oldest?
No. Kobe's the oldest. He's in Denver, and then I think you met Cade. Yeah, he came in the locker room the other day.
Oh,
Cade.
I thought that was Waylon, but I didn't want to say. I didn't want.
No. He's 4 years younger than Waylon, 10 years younger. So.
Oh, Waylon's a young buck.
young buck. Yeah. So.
Does he skate?
He did. Yeah, he actually played in Colorado. Played pretty good.
Really?
Yeah. So played in Dillingham.
What's he doing Wednesday night?
He grew up in Dillingham, and so like Glennallen's rink was garbage. Outdoor, no cover, no nothing, and you got a shovel. And Dillingham was that times or worse times 10. Like he literally was out there like I think he was spraying it down with like a little garden hose and. But
trying to make a rink out of it.
Yeah. There's I think one other person in the town that like skated and anyway. So, but anyway, yeah, he came out of there and did his Denver thing and kind of moved along and it's hockey family.
It was nice to see all the Nelson brothers together. I've seen them together, all of them together.
It's got to be hilarious.
It's not that nice.
It was pretty fun. It was much more like positive vibes than I would have thought.
Are they all redheads?
I only got a taste of the ginge. Everybody else is they don't got that affliction. I'm the son of the something else.
Yeti medals.
Yeah,
tell me about Yeti medals. It's a little side project.
Again, if the government's listening, this is semi-true, but it's a good tax shelter. Me and a buddy.
Truth to this,
another buddy of mine. We're both kind of in the same mindset. We like to tinker. We like to kind of build stuff. And one day we came along and found this auction, and they're like down in Valdez, and they're selling this CNC plasma cutter, and I was like, well, shit, that's kind of cool. And jokingly, kind of texted this guy, and we're like, yeah, I'm going halves, and you were like, yeah, and he's like, oh, well, I talked to my wife, she said, yeah, let's do this, and I'm like, all right, well, I will talk to my wife, and she'll say yes, and we'll do this. And so we bought this plasma table, and it was like one of the shell project deals that kind of anyway. Long story short, we ended up with this big ass plasma table, and we're just like, okay, well, we got to get back to Anchorage, and we got to what are we going to do with it? And it was all like, well, we'll make signs and like do a bunch of stupid shit with it, and kind of still to this day, our bread and butter is, fixing guys' trailers and, doing a little stuff. And I mean, we get paid in beer, so it's pretty lucrative, honestly.
It is.
So it's,
well, you're undervaluing what you're doing. You guys do a lot, man. You fix my trailer. You've made a sign for me, multiple signs, I want to say.
Yeah, we did a couple Challenge Alaska fire pits, and some other like women's. There's a women's petroleum club fire pit, and it's honestly like it's kind of it's a side hustle like to the nth degree, and we're trying to find our niche, but it's not like we're hustling that hard.
Can people reach out to you if they want to get something to fire pit? I mean, he does awesome fire pits.
Yeah, so we did this one for Challenge Alaska, and it was an auction pit, and sadly it was last year they didn't do the in person, and I think it would have done a lot better, seeing it, because it was like 3/16 steel, and it was, so that's their logo, and we, painted it up, and it was like it was a legit, like we dialed it in, and seeing it on the website is like, it doesn't do it justice. No, if you can see it in person and have a couple drinks, and you're kind of bidding up your buddy, that's
put
kind
the fire in it and let
exactly
that blow out.
Yeah. So So
it looks badass, dude.
Yeah, no, it's fun. We do a little bit of fabrication, and it's it's kind of a passion more than like a business. Not that like tomorrow if somebody said we need a million little widgets, like we'd probably do that and figure it out. But so and then we just kind of dabble. It's built. Yeah, that one up there is a little trail groomer I built for the cabin.
This one here?
Yeah. So we kind of fabbed that up. It was like out of scrap. It was like my goal was to make it $0, and other than like the $20,000 CNC plasma and all the other equipment, it was free. So
that brand's gone a long ways.
What's that?
You made me that brand.
How does that do? I mean, does it just like flatten that fucking trail right out?
It does pretty good. It just I mean,
see, it's got like the double backed spine.
Yeah, it just kind of knocks down the tops and lays them in the bottoms. And
okay.
we there's a bunch of different style.
Swoop down a little bit. Just like cut the top off.
Right.
Kind of a deal.
Yeah. So there's a bunch of different kinds you can do. There's like you can do that, and then you have like a little kind of a half pipe that smooths it down, and or corduroy. There's like we've all been on those. That the piston bullies up on Alaska do, and so this is the poor boy edition.
Perfect.
So
I want to show them the sign, man. If anyone ever comes to the hot dog stand downtown, Galen's the one that did the sign.
Yep, down.
Did I miss it?
Up.
No, that's
a different one. Okay.
Yeah, that was a prototype.
I was like, "Are you sure you can do it, Galen?"
I think
let me see first. Did I miss it?
Yeah,
I think you keep going up.
Keep going up. Okay.
Yeah. There.
Oh yeah, there you go.
That's this year's one, right?
Yeah. So that one I did like those two little the blue pieces there. Those are from the metal plasma, and then I have a CNC wood router that we did the other stuff with. So that was kind of that was
your first attempt.
Yeah.
And look at how good it came out.
Yeah.
Gave him the idea. He's like, "No, I'm gonna do this," and then he just went with it.
And then those are magnetic, and so
behind this is like he embedded magnets inside the wood. So I said I need to be able to change the price because anyone looking at this, it's not this.
Because there's inflation. There's inflation now.
Yeah, it's 8 and 10, y'all. Listen, hot dog prices.
You have swap outs.
Yeah, so this whole thing comes off. It's a metal plate that just comes off, and I can put the new one on that he already made for me because I knew the price was going to come up, and it says 8 and 10. So this comes off and this comes off.
Sweet.
And it just magnets right to it because the magnet's like embedded in there.
Yeah.
That's a smart idea.
Yeah.
Very.
So, yeah, I like to tinker.
He likes to tinker.
I like to tinker.
Let's give one more shout out to some more sponsors and we'll come back to the tinker talk. The Treehouse AK, your one-stop dispensary located at 341 Boniface Parkway. Be sure to ask the bud tender about their deal of the day because honestly, there's always something good on deck. And guys, listen, this is where the culture lives. At the Treehouse, their dedication to servicing consumers has been developed through a lifetime of involvement in the cannabis culture. They're committed to providing the highest quality products at whatever value your budget affords, while always maintaining the deep-rooted principles that have carried them this far. Their focus is on relationships over transactions, and you can always depend on them to treat you with the respect you deserve. Hit them up at thetreehouseak.com, and remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Tailored Restoration, 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Tailored has an emergency response number with trained professionals available to help you at any time, day or night. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Make an appointment today at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Since 2008, Serrano's is Anchorage's own new generation of old cocina. Their menu showcases the passion and love of their rich heritage and unique family recipes that have been passed down through the generations. Serrano's goal is to embrace and display trad flavors using the best ingredients that are available. They focus on making everything from scratch daily. In-house menu includes handcrafted corn tortillas, salsas, carne asada, and chorizo. But don't take their word for it. Experience their tradition and sabor for yourself. Locations on Tudor and Northern Lights, both with new tequila bars. Check out their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
The Connoisseur Lounge, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. The Connoisseur Lounge is Palmer's first locally owned and operated cannabis retailer. Their beautiful store is located at 226 Evergreen Avenue. The Connoisseur Lounge has exclusive cannabis products such as Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and one of our favorites, Sugar Cookies. And if you're not into the flower, the Connoisseur can hook you up with edibles, vape supplies, and a ton of CBD options for all your health and inflammation needs. Check out their daily deals at theconnoisseurlounge.net, or even better, stop by the lounge today. Remember, you must be 21 years of age to enter their store.
Like the real deal.
I think I have 2 cavities.
From?
Eating. I guess. I don't know. I brush my teeth there all the time.
Where'd that come from?
Because I'm munching on this moose stick that Galen brought.
Oh, gotcha.
And I can only eat on the left side. I think the left side is, the right side is already bad. I can't even eat on that side. And then now on the left side, it's developing.
That's graphic. Mm-hmm. That happens when you get old?
Pushing 40, your teeth are going.
I don't know if it happens when you get old, but I haven't had a cavity in a long time, but I know it. I just feel it just hurts when I eat. I can't even, last night I was eating some local greens.
Root canal?
And I couldn't eat, oh, don't say that. Root canal? Oh, it doesn't hurt anymore. Just put you right to bed? All right, I could do that. I need a good nap, man. I got to have a surgery in order to get some rest.
Yeah,
no, but I can't eat anything cold, nothing. I can't even have tomato. I can't even have a salad. I can't even have a salad on the right side of because I got the biggest cavity. I think. I'm assuming.
Some self-diagnostics.
You a chiropractor?
Yeah. Maybe your dad could check me out and crack my tooth crack in there.
Just crack your neck and fix your tooth problems.
You're like kindergarten.
I always found that was really funny about going into the chiropractor, because I forever, man, I was like, I'm not going to a chiropractor. I'm not getting cracked. And then I finally did once, and I'm like, oh, wow.
Yeah.
That's like a life-changing experience. Now, there's funny because they have this, the chart.
Mm-hmm.
This has, all these different health impacts that would result in good...
The benefits?
It's like the benefits of CBD.
Yeah.
Oh, there's lots of benefits.
You have to come here.
Shout out to the Treehouse, the Connoisseur Lounge, and AKO Farms.
Word.
Yeah, I like it.
CBD.
Check it out.
And the Chiropractors Guild of, I don't know. Glennallen. of Glennallen, Alaska.
The Gators, South Central area.
The Panthers.
The Black Panthers.
But I did the chiropractor thing because I was recovering from some back rehabilitation, or I forget what I was doing at the time. But I'm in there for good 6 weeks in a row. Mm-hmm. I went in there consistently, and I did the thing. The chiropractor was like, "Hey, we're check you, and you're straightening more and more, and all of a sudden you're gonna have better bowel movements, and there's all these
colors
awesome
are brighter, you can smell deeper.
Things are gonna happen."
Yeah.
And then I got fixed up, and I'm like,
and then you stopped going.
I never went back, but I would say though, for about 2 years, I was fucking 100% best of my life.
So my push for chiropractors.
Maybe I had better bowel movements and better airflow, and I don't really know.
Better airflow, yeah. So my 5 seconds here on this soapbox for chiropractic and just natural health in general is we all drive trucks, right?
Yeah.
You drive them. You drive them. You drive them hard. You tow. You do all this stuff. You maintain them, right?
Yeah.
Oil change. Rotate the tires. Do all that. Yeah. With normal humans, it's you do all this shit. You go hunting. You fish. I started wearing my wallet in my front pocket because you have a 2-inch log in your bed. It's
doesn't work.
You got to maintain your body. You can't just go to the chiropractor and be like, oh, one adjustment, I'm cured. This is. It's your body is a machine, right? It's you align it, you feel better, you get a massage, it kind of loosens up your muscles, you get an adjustment, you feel good. You're like, I'm never going back because I'm perfect, and then you do all this other stuff and you're like, it never worked because, 2 months later I feel like shit. It's like, you got to maintain. It's like, it's like anything, right?
I do exactly what you said every year.
Yeah, I do too. I do too. My parents both are chiropractors, and my mom was in town. She like cracked my back once. I was like, yeah, I've been in like 4 months. So, I'm the same as everybody. My whole point is like, people are like, oh, they have you come back every month. And it's like, you got to maintain just like anything else, It's like an oil change. You get dialed.
When you need it, though, it's amazing.
Oh, yeah.
Growing up snowboarding, I went like 10 years. I had never been a chiropractor, but 10 years with like tight wrists.
Yeah.
Then my buddy became a chiropractor, and I was telling him about it, and he was like,
what?
Oh,
they do your wrists?
Oh, yeah, because snowboarders put their hand down. They get jammed in there,
Maybe
right?
that's what's been
the
going
first time that he did that. And
what about them
finally
dangles, though?
Oh, yeah.
It helps your dangle game.
You know what I'm saying? They said I got some hands on the ice.
Yeah,
Imagine if I got them cracked.
We need a team chiropractor.
Yeah, we do. Call your mom.
Yeah.
Yo, Buitrago needs a wrist crack stat.
You want to be Double Shovel's team chiropractor? Follow us around at the Subway Center or the Royale.
Blue line.
I think she's in.
Oh yeah, she's about to retire, so her options are open.
Is she going to move down here?
I think that might be part of the plan. Eventually, she has family on the East Coast. Her mom and dad are still on the East Coast, and so she still has some property, and in Tulsa, she's subdividing, and her property out there is amazing. Like it's on Tulsa Lake, which
she's selling one. I'm looking.
Oh, well, she's got 7 acres for sale.
I'll at your boy. It's a little far, but I kind of want to be fun.
Yeah, so the benefits of that property is like, other than, on paper it's in Glennallen, which actually is a benefit because there are no taxes, right? So she has, she's subdividing some plots that are, like, they touch the lake and they touch a runway, and it's on the road system. And it's like, There's not a whole lot of that in Alaska anymore. Baby. In the heart of Unit 13.
So anybody listening, it's already sold.
Yeah, unless you contact Galen Nelson, whatever my Instagram.
There's
hashtag
3 N's,
.com.
3 N's in Nelson. I want to talk about your side-by-side.
Oh, yeah.
You don't have a good picture. You're only showing the bottom here. I don't know what's going on, man.
Is this the new one? This is the post
like
tractor?
the booty shot. Yeah. So I.
Oh, you don't have one with the tracks on it?
No, that's the old.
My apologies for anyone looking at Galen Nelson's Instagram page.
Yeah.
He needs to post more.
I need to post more. I need to post more often. And if I get some sponsors, we may talk about that.
I bet you have one with the tracks on there.
Yeah, so the tracks.
Scroll down like at 2 years.
Yeah, this is.
There's this one, but that's the old one. Right?
There.
That's the old one.
That's the old machine, though.
Yeah, so that's the old rig, and
same tracks, though.
Yeah, and so we spent a lot of years finding our moose spot, right? Like like Jack, you grew up like you've had your spot for years.
Yeah, where's it?
You guys,
we had to find it.
It is latitude, longitude. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Is it in Glennallen?
Nobody.
Yep, right in the middle.
Maybe. Unit.
It's behind the hub
between Unit 13 and 14.
Yeah, it's in Alaska, so it's nice. But so
south of the Yukon,
south of the Arctic Circle, north of the equator. It's right there.
Can't miss it.
Can't miss it.
Between Jack and Wade.
Yeah.
Have you heard of Upper Huffman?
Yeah. It's a Bear Valley area. So like a lot of Alaska, like I was telling you guys, growing up, moose were on the side of the road. Moose is where you find it. Side of the road is where we got them, and so we never had toys, we never had anything, right? And so there's the front part of my life was like, you just get meat when you get it, and you don't ask questions, right? And so then. There's a time in kind of college years where, I was like, I didn't really care about hunting too much because, I was interested in other things.
You're hunting others.
I was hunting other things and then, you're getting back into the game, and it was like, in my head, I'm like, I've hunted my whole life, I got this, and so then you start going out and it's like, and now people have, 1,000cc Rangers or Razors and, like Thiocalls and like all this stuff where you're just like, it's not like it was back in the day where, you want a moose, you get a moose, and now it's like, like, oh, yeah. What was that? What was that? What was that?
You hear that?
There's a caribou coming.
The whole herd.
I'm sorry, gentlemen. I
You called them all in.
Conversation there. You okay, Daniel? You okay?
Yeah, sorry, I got distracted.
And so now you get back in the game, and you're just like, you just got to go farther. You got to do more. You feel like you have to work harder, and so by working harder it means you got to get more toys, and you got to get, it's like, so me and my buddies, my hunting buddy, like we spent years like finding, we're like, we got to find some place where nobody's at, like ever. We're finding the place that like other people's dads found 30 years ago, right? And you're just like, not that there's a lot of places like that left, because they're all scooped up. And so we spent years, we're just like, oh, we found these old cat track trails, and we did a bunch of GPS stuff, and we're just like, okay, Google Earth, and you're just like, okay. So we went out in this spot, and we posted up, and we're like, this is the zone. Didn't see one thing for like 5 days. So $20,000 later, we go home with nothing, and that happened for like
you had to put those tracks on.
Exactly,
you're 5 miles through swamp.
Exactly,
whatever,
yeah. And so yeah, we got these tracks, and we're like,
motherland.
Now we can go further, and we're just like deeper into the shit, and we're it's like you do all this stuff, not like it's like it's all in moose territory, but it didn't work out for whatever reason. So we since then found our spot, that's like our moose mecca, and I don't need tracks anymore. So we sold this, and I upgraded because that's a 2013, and it's getting a little long in the tooth, and you don't want to have a motor rebuild on the trail. And so we upgraded to a different rig, and my buddy since then also upgraded, and it's like anything you want to do with motorized vehicles these days, you just throw money at it, and you can bigger, higher, more horsepower. You can go anywhere. Right?
What do you guys have
for rigs? Mm-hmm. So I got this. It's a 2019 High Lifter Edition Polaris Ranger, and my buddy got
1,000.
Yeah, it's 1,000. Yeah, and then my buddy got the crew cab, and he did the portal lift, and he's on like 35-inch tires, and it's ridiculous. Like it is like you look at it and you're like, this is a friggin' Jeep, and
Toyota Tacoma.
Yeah. Oh, but twice the price, right? And so the pound, the price per pound is like, I don't know, $5,000, whatever, but it does good, and so, you get in, you get out safely, and it's, you're crossing rivers, and you're doing some gnarly stuff, and it's like, we had some coworkers that went in with some old kind of shitty, 4-wheelers, and they came out with 3-wheelers.
A 3-wheeler towing a 3-wheeler?
Oh yeah, no, a 4-wheeler with a 3-wheeler strapped to it because the front wheel fell off, and they're crossing this river, and they showed me these videos. I'm like, I mean, I love me some moose meat, but I don't want to die. They're crossing this river. I'm like, good damn, it's like. You gotta level your comfort level with kind of the adventure that you're willing to partake in, and so we, it's like this thing we could do some things to it, and it's it.
Are you doing that for other people? If someone says, "Hey,"
oh hell no, I got
Yeti Metals isn't doing that.
No, that's kind of how it sits. And I don't want to plug anybody, but the A2D, Chad over there at A2D Motorsports, he is dialed for anything snow machine, 4-wheeler, like they're the guys. Yeah, they're the guys that they do this stuff, right? Yeah. It's not just like they're selling the parts. Like they go out and they rally. They rally,
yeah,
and
they test a winch rope.
Oh yeah.
They'll know when it breaks.
Yeah. So you go to them and you're like, oh, this is kind of the area I'm going in, and my buddy got his dialed in, and it's he'll set you with wheels, and he's kind of like the what's that pimp your ride. It's like he's
sommelier.
Sommelier. Yeah, he's like
no, for real.
Yeah, no, he's like, you want these wheels, you want these axles, you want this, and he's not upselling anything. He's like, if he
knows where you're going, what you're trying to do.
Yeah, if you're going to Jim Creek and just like doing Brodies and like trying to be cool, like he'll sell you one thing, and if you're trying to make it back and you're going out in the woods, like he'll sell you something totally different. Yeah. And he's a good dude. I'll pay some money for like, peace of mind.
Yeah.
So.
Oh yeah.
I was laughing earlier because whenever Galen posts something, it's always the funniest one-line quote. And the sun just says the air is so thin.
I installed a 3-inch lift. I got a nosebleed on this one.
Is that thing running 30s?
So those are stock tires on. They're 28s, but I think I do need to upgrade those because they're a little aggressive for
they look like 30s with the paddle.
Yeah, they're just.
You could put 32s on that if you really wanted to, though, huh?
So when we went out, that was one of the downsides of this. This edition is like made for like Louisiana swamp bog, like gumbo bog. And
have you ever seen Soggy Bottom Boys? You ever Googled them? Yeah. Yo.
Are those the guys that are just like wheeling through
the mud? So like in the mud.
So there's a 100-yard stretch where we go, and it's that. And this thing was like pounded, towing with moose and everything. And this thing was just like ate it up.
Walked it.
Everything else, it just tears up the trails, and it doesn't, just they're too aggressive for kind of what we're doing. So, you got to dial it in for what you're doing.
Yeah.
Oh, it's a band too.
Well, it's a movie.
Funny.
Oh yeah,
it's
a movie.
Yeah, it's a really good movie.
I was talking about
it's the band in.
I'm not talking about those guys, dude. There's some boys from Alabama.
Yep.
Is that where they're from?
The Riders?
Oh man, Alabama boys.
Soggy Bottom Boys ATV.
No, you got to go to YouTube, man. Their shit's huge. I'm gonna pull it up real quick.
I don't know if you want to type that in.
Soggy Bottom.
7-inch moose. I think it's
right there, Soggy Bottom Boys.
Yeah, you're gonna find it.
Why doesn't it pop up?
Well, duh. I mean, it's fucking.
Yeah, just write Soggy Bottom ATV or something. Boom. Oh, you didn't use the Z on boys.
I knew it, dude. Okay, let me read it.
That's like
Jay-Z taught us something, man. One thing.
When you name your pot shop, there's no S's, there's just Z's.
Soggy Bottom. Man, this is not showing it justice, but man, see, look like that right there.
Yeah.
But they'd be going through some crazy.
Yeah, so that's like, like Alaska throws everything at you, right? You got rock. Like,
they don't have a moose in the back.
So those tracks are beautiful. If you're in deep swamp, like we had buddies stuck, to the tits, and I go up in 2-wheel drive, pull up, back up, tow them out. But if you're on rocks and roots and stuff, it's like the worst ride in the world. Like, it's just, everything has pro and con, right? And where we're at now is like, it's not track country. It's, Soggy Bottom Boys country.
Yeah.
So click on that picture there. Yeah. So
has this been named yet? Because we have a thing for naming things.
Okay. Well, I'm open because this was a happy accident.
Trailer.
This was a happy accident. So you see my little brother here. Yeah,
Not Waylon.
Cade. So so this trailer is if people are familiar with it, it's a tetrapod. It's called. So that it'll flip forward to be a little John boat, and a buddy I went with years ago had one, and it has walking beam axles, so it center hub, and then both tires move independently, which are awesome because you're kind of unlimited to like suspension, right? Yeah. And so I found one on Craigslist, and I was like, I'm gonna buy this, and so we took it out. I was like, there's nothing I can do to like F this thing up, and I did. Like, before we even got to camp, I hit this like root ball, and I was kind of wadded up, and I punched out, and it wasn't able to rotate, and so it basically like wadded up.
It's not sitting high enough off the ground.
Yeah. Well, so I don't have the before picture. There's a couple pictures. Anyway, long story short, like it effed up the frame enough to where like, each set of tires were like, 30 degrees or 20 degrees out. And so I found that out when we had, 2 moose, and you're coming out and it's pissing down rain, and we're trying to go up, and so not only do you have all this weight, but you're not tracking right. And so I brought it home, and I kind of reconfigured it. And then when I did, I was like, I'll just put the axles on the outside, like, thinking in my head, I was like, that's how I took it apart, but I didn't. And so now they can rotate. And so if you hit something and it's big enough, like a stump or a root ball, it'll rotate on itself. And so, so you won't have to, like, it is 100%, like, there's no way you can get high centered on that, on any one of those sides. So
100%?
95%. Okay.
Yeah. Go flat.
0 guarantees.
Have you took it out yet and tested it?
No. So
what's
maybe
the width
50%.
compared to your
Polaris? It's exactly the same width as my Ranger.
Yeah.
So that also was a happy accident, because before the axles were flipped and they were on the inside, And so you can see those two cross members. I put those in there to strengthen the frame because how it was before. I basically wrapped that axle. And so,
you know what the best upgrade ever would be now? To update, if you don't have the hubs for the Argo wheels and tires, to convert to the full Argo wheels and then do the plastic 6-wheeler track kit that you can buy the certain amount of boxes to fit whatever your diameter length is and go full track on that plastic track.
So I thought about doing that or upgrading the wheels to those big bubble wheels.
Just do the tracks, dude.
Yeah.
Trust me.
Yeah. So
like there's no ifs, ands, or buts.
Because it'll span everything, right?
Everything.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so I'm gonna
water, mud, everything you do.
Yeah, so I'm gonna take this out this summer, to the cabin and get some wood and just kind of feel, go for it. Just feel what. There it is.
Oh,
hey-oh.
That sounded good. That felt good.
Crisp.
So anyway, we'll see how this works, and in my brain, in my shop, I'm like, this is gonna be.
That's gonna auger in the first mud hole that thing triangulates and like dumps and like. No, it's just gonna like. It'll angle and then grab swamp and just push.
No, but then the tire will. No. I've seen it in action. I've seen it.
Throw forward.
Yeah.
It'll push it forward.
I've seen it hit, go up, and then rotate, and then it'll rotate back. Like it's impressive.
Are you gonna be in like
in my brain?
Like
it's impressive.
Like Rudy Swamp, where it's gonna grab like
no
tangle like in a ball.
No.
Okay, well that's different.
Yeah, we're kind of rocks and roots and a couple water crossings.
Okay.
What?
I'm not trying to tell you what you should and shouldn't do. But
rocks and roots.
Oh, I thought you said
rocks and roots.
Mile 350. on the Dalton Highway.
Seriously though, I mean, if you did convert to the track, you would never have to worry about the flip because it would never have to flip.
Yeah,
and it would just like go over the top of everything.
I'm gonna try to do a little test and tune here this summer before we take it out, but.
There's enough clearance on the sides.
So that was the other benefit. So I raised it like 3 inches, and so now I have the same ground clearance as my Ranger, awesome. Which before it was like I would drag the tongue and the whole belly of that in the mud and shit.
Fighting against it the whole time.
Yeah. So now I flip my trailer hitch up, and so all of that, like I got 20 inches of ground clearance all the way back, which is nice. 20 inches is nice.
20 and
open trail, man. That thing will just fucking fly.
20.
So have you put it in the water?
Not yet. No. It has boat tags, and I'm supposed to carry all the boating information, carry the pontoons and the flares and shit. But I don't know if I'll ever put it in the water. But
you should, just like at Jewel Lake.
Yeah, I should.
Just come pull it out there in the sea.
And you just pull those pins?
Yeah. So you flip it. So it has the little outboard. So you flip it. It'll flip forward. You repin it, and there's actually seats in there that are they're buoyant seats, and then you just pull that back pin, slide it out. Oh yeah, and then I added the rear receiver, which is a game changer for one way. Yeah, when you're in a single track situation, like some guy gets stuck behind you, or it's like if you can
that thing.
Yeah, if you can yard in front of you, it's like rather than trying to unhook your trailer, bebop around, and it's just
well. And what's cool is that the hitch is bolted to the frame,
right?
Versus like a fat rat.
Right.
Or a pack rat, where you put a mounted D-ring bolted in the plastic hole of the trailer.
Yeah.
Oh, really?
So
does that rip it out?
No. It has an extra built wall of thickness in the base of the
that it runs through the whole plastic.
Yeah, like the fiberglass style material that it's made out of is thicker. Then it tapers to the top. Well, in the thicker part of the bottom is where you double bolt that D-ring in. And it's made for not yanking, but slowly pulling. You wouldn't full blast bam, and mount a chain to it and blow the hole out. It would just be a slow tug.
Yeah.
Or the plastic in the structure. But his is in the steel.
Yeah. So that goes all the way up through the tongue up into my hitch. That was the plan. Was pretty badass. I was redoing all of it, and so I'm like, why don't you just extend it another 2 feet and you got a rear hitch, and you're pulling from, and those Rangers can tow 2,500 pounds. It's not for nothing. You can, I wouldn't feel bad about yarding another Ranger out with that.
You can actually do the snapback.
Right. Yeah.
Yep.
So
what was the name of this thing?
Those are tetrapods, I think. Yeah. Tetrapods.
What's your trailer's name?
It's made in Canada?
Oh, it's the Thundercat.
They're made
It's the
what did you say? Tetra what?
The tetrapod. So they're made in Canada, and I don't know if they make them anymore. They're like, you see a couple like 1998 videos of these guys, and like I said, my buddy had one, and I saw the walking beam, and I'm like, and it's great because when you close that thing, it's sealed up. You don't have mud and goo and
clean.
All your stuff's clean, all the meat's clean, and
we have an aluminum rig that's really close to that.
So
it has
So my buddies have the they sell them at
there it is, a tetrapod.
Yeah. So
oh wow.
So my buddies have the ones with the big balloon.
Okay.
Yeah. So and you can extend it if you want to launch the boat. You can extend that tongue, and it has a different pin. But my buddies have the where they got Illuma something, and they have the big bubble wheels, and they work good. I mean, they're just a big aluminum tub.
Yeah.
And honestly, like they work. They do just
Yeah.
Obviously,
I
it
think
did better than mine.
Like is one of the guys at our camp.
Yeah, they did better than mine because I watered mine up and they didn't. But
they have massive tires, though.
Oh yeah, they got those 20 whatever inch.
Yeah, it does great though.
So this one seems to have the same setup kind of you do, right?
Yeah, that's same setup.
Did you watch this video before?
I did. Yeah, before I bought it, I was like, oh, this guy. Oh yeah.
Oh, he made a turn.
Oh, okay. I can dump. Sold.
Look at that. Oh, no, this is the part I want to see. This is the part I want to see when you go into the water with this thing.
Step 1, Step 2, remove gas springs. Step 3.
He's doing all this by himself, too.
He cut a hole in the box.
Detach the remove quick pins times 2.
Yeah.
And then he just puts them into there so you don't lose them.
Yeah.
And it kind of seals the hole a little bit.
So
how many pins are there? 4?
I don't know, a couple. Yeah, 2, 3, 4. My whole concept was like, you're always like in the shit, and you're like, if we get one that's across a lake, like you're gonna walk across, that's like a nightmare. But if you have this boat, you just launch the boat.
So you bring paddles up?
Oh yeah. I mean,
it looks very boatish in the water.
Look at this guy.
Look at that guy. Yeah,
he's cruising, dude. He's certified. Straight up, bro.
Yeah. So this is what we took across
the little kid font.
This is what we took across Nushigat Bay. It can haul 8 cases
of Budweiser. Beluga head right there.
Yeah, it can haul 8 cases of Budweiser and
680-pound payload.
Yeah. 1 quarter at a time,
and a beluga head.
Sounds like a guy and a moose.
It's pretty dialed.
You could really,
Oh man, that's crazy.
Play that back there.
Cool.
Play that back on the stats if you can. Just I got right where it says what it'll haul, and I'll tell you something.
Bullshit.
Oh, it's
certified.
Certified. There's right there. Rated for 2 people, 3 horsepower motor, and 680-pound payload. That's in Alaska. That's where you start. It's 2 people's 300 and some pounds or 400 pounds here, and then another 680 pounds. You know what I mean?
It'll haul 45 pounds of meat.
1 quarter at a time, baby.
You should take that on a sheep hunt. Hey, but so what? You could get across some water and bring back one thing at a time.
I like it.
That's cool, man.
It's actually pretty sick. And then now you could probably put like a mud buddy on that and make just
endless.
You got to keep your options open. I mean, you never know what you're going to come across. Like, yeah, I'm going to put some wings on it and a little, Rotex engine. We'll fly out of there, put some floats.
Well, I'm very interested to see how all that works out.
Yeah, so I'm gonna my goal is like this summer just to beat the shit out of it at the property and just make sure it holds together. Like my welding skills are like, probably not kindergarten, chiropractor level, but they're like middle school, Thundercat level. So
hey, that's good enough for most.
If it holds together and I can kind of put it through the paces, then we'll take it out to Moose Camp and
can we get some decals?
Oh yeah, it's
Thundercat decals and just.
It has to be the Thundercat, huh? Okay, that's
I think it's officially going to be the name.
Yeah, so it'll be like the arm of the Thundercat.
That's the name of everything.
The Thundercat with the sword, and then when it folds out, it's like the whole sword.
It is. Yeah,
the Thundercat.
Okay, so what now? Let's look at it again here.
Yeah, it's just half the kitty folds out, and now it's the whole.
Yeah, it's the kitty folded up.
Cat. It's like Thunderjet, Thundercat.
I gotta pee now, man. You ain't gotta go pee.
Yeah. So we're starting something new here in at the Alaskan Wild Project, making new boats.
We're figuring things out, one podcast at a time. Working on it.
It's a whole new world.
I'm gonna have to go to bed.
What other new shit you have for bringing out to Moose Camp?
So last couple of years
Where is the Moose Camp?
Upper Huffman.
Yeah, it's Upper Huffman, kind of like near like DeArmond,
Like behind the hub.
Yeah.
It's behind the hub.
So
You kind of keep asking him. He's gonna slip up.
Take a ride at the hub.
yeah, so we go to the hub and then you just glass for a while. But we
Get some Thai food.
yeah, Tok Thai in Glennallen.
Rendering.
So yeah, we last year or a couple of years ago, we were just driving around, finding all these other camps, and we found an old Blaze King stove, and we're just like, oh, okay, yeah. So we found, put it in the back of the Ranger, drove around, ended up finding a moose, shoot it. So we're like, oh, throw this out. Got the moose, and then so this last year we came back and we're like, we're gonna get this stove back to camp because the one we have is like, it's a garbage full of holes and
Dilapidating.
it is. So we fired it up this year, and I go into the cabin, and it was like, it looks like a starry night. There's just like holes in the stovepipe, and like it's super dangerous. Like
it's about to burn this mother down.
Oh yeah. So we got the Blaze Queen there, or the Blaze King, and so we took all the measurements and get that dialed in because this the cabin we got is like a 19. I mean. The legend is like built in the 60s, right? This guy, and it's funny because you look at the map. Not that anybody will ever know where that's at, but like the area around it is there's no trees, and then you got this cabin. It's like, oh, he cut down the trees, described them himself, built this cabin, standard 3.5 foot door, so you hit your head every time you go in.
It's a full smash.
Fucking awesome, yeah. And even if you put like little danglers down, like I scalped myself like six times.
You're gonna black out every time you smash that.
Oh yeah, it's great. Dirt floor. We went in last year and we literally they put OSB down on the gravel, so it's just like muck and gnarly stuff, and we took all that out, put sleepers in, put a floor in, and it's like civilized, civilized hunting, and so, but yeah, it's, every year, just like anything, you make it a little bit better, a little bit more comfortable. And, it's a process. And
what's on the docket this year?
So docket this year, I think kind of, rinse and repeat, and then, just kind of, keep it dialed. 'Cause we got the creek, we got the, I'm not gloating by any means, but it is, got the, the meat hanging tree, and we got, all this stuff that's like, anybody could ever ask for. And it's, in a zone where you're just like, you just hope for good stuff. And
the last high-end luxury edition we made was that we mounted this water heater to the side of our stove, so we have hot water for cleaning dishes or whatever.
Yeah, so that is one. Last year, 7 days in the woods with no shower was, the level of funk was it was getting palpable. I could definitely see like some kind of little rain shower to rinse the funk off.
You just bring the bucket of baby powder. Yeah, you don't have that at your camp.
I mean, we bring 400 baby wipes, and I mean, they can only scour so deep.
Well, we ask all our guests to give us their best moose call. So if you would right now,
we're talking like a grunt or like a cow.
It's up to you. We do like to get both if you got both in your arsenal.
So if I haven't been training. Usually it's on the way out. I do like
your first calls of the
20 minutes of calls like.
Wait a second. That's getting me excited.
Oh, no, you got Mike up, man. Mike was almost asleep. You just woke him up, man.
Ooh, G-man.
They come running. They come running.
Yo, I give that a 9. I give it a 9. Jack, what's the rating?
He can come hunting with me anytime.
That was good, man. That was good.
So we before this the Mecca that we found, we were bopping around, and we we were honestly like right on backside of Eureka, like where everybody else is at, and we found this little meadow.
Where were you?
I've never been there.
Eureka Lodge, Alaska. Nobody knows where it's at. I used to work there, actually.
Nobody there.
Yeah,
at the lodge.
Yeah, at the lodge. Yeah.
You made the Eureka burger.
I was a waitress.
Driving in from Glennallen every day.
I lived out there for a while.
In that white little igloo.
Yeah. We would
60-mile one way.
Yeah. I'd work all day, and I'd use my daily tips in buying flats of beer, and I was over 21 at the time, so we'd go and get hammered. Wake up at 11. You're like, oh fuck, I gotta work at 12. And so anyway. We were hunting back there, and we found this like little meadow, and I was posting up, and I was like trying my calls because before that, before you like actually call one in, you're like, am I speaking Spanish? Am I like, is this? I don't even know like what I'm saying to them. Like it could be like, you guys don't need to come around here. I'm gonna fucking shoot you. Like they're just like, okay, cool. But I was like, I did my research, and I was practicing. I did the fucking the horn thing, and I sat there and I was doing my calls, and I'm like, sitting there by myself. I'm like, getting my zen, right? And so I start throwing out some calls, and I hear this like thrashing. I'm like, oh yeah. And I hear this thrashing, and I'm like, keep calling, and this bull comes out. I'm like, yep. And it was 100 yards away, so I dialed it in. It was like a 30-inch, 35-inch, like small. But I'm like, I'll just see what I can do. And so I called him in, and he was like, he came in to like 20 yards, and he was just like, I'm gonna get some of this. And I'm like, and finally I like get out of the tree, and I'm like, no, you're not getting this. This is not yours.
I'm gonna get some of this.
And he could have had it all, because I was just like, oh, I got a gun, and and he was there, and I was just like, I put my hands up, did my thing, and waved, and finally it was like he finally trailed off, and the next that afternoon I was like, hey, I told my buddies, I'm like, dude, this is the spot. This is where they're all at. And so we fucking we go back to the camper, we fucking get a couple brewskis in us, and we're like, all right, we're going back down, and we go down there, and I'm like, guys, I got this. So I fucking do my calls again, and hear the same thrash, and I'm like, oh yeah, I got one guy over here he's gonna do the trees, and this guy's gonna he's like posted up. And I was calling him like, yep. Same guy comes out. It's like, motherfucker. And he wouldn't leave like for like 2 hours. He's just like, I'm gonna get some of this. And I'm like, God damn it. Like, it was too good. It was too good.
Is there all you really good moose hunters, is there a specific within 50-yard call? Because you don't want to do the long drawn out.
It's quiet.
I mean, I think that the opinions.
Or have you heard of one?
So varied. Like the people I hunt with are very soft callers, softer than I'm talking now.
Yeah.
And they usually like play like if you're within 50 yards. Is the moose? So what's the scenario? Is the moose coming in already?
Within 50 yards. It's within 50 yards, but it's stopped there.
And
it's like you need to come closer.
You got a challenge call then.
Okay.
You challenge call.
So I've seen a lot of moose getting spooked, and you're close, and it's like, wow, like, and they stop and look around. They're like, what the fuck was that? What the fuck was that?
That's right.
Bam, and I've had buddies. one buddy, the guides that I was telling you about that live out there. They land their cub on this fucking lake, and they're just like, getting ready to hunt. And they're snapping trees to like pull the tail in, so they can get it tied down. As moose pops up, he's like, I'm gonna fuck you all day. And they're like, go.
Yeah. Like, our client's not here yet.
Yeah, they're like, no, not yet. And he's like, yeah, this is happening. And they're like, oh, and at that time you're just like, how do you shoot a moose? Like, we shot one, and he had two guys pop up, and he's like, they're just sitting there just like, let's do this. And it's like, like you don't know how to talk to
Have
moose.
some etiquette.
Yeah, I mean, we know how to moose call them in. Like, how do you call them out? Like, what's the call?
Call them out.
What's the call? What's the call to say? Go home. Go home. We're a Thundercat. Go home.
No bueno.
yeah. It's over. It's over. Your buddy's done.
I think, like, more importantly, it's like what time of the year you're calling. I mean,
Right.
if you're calling at the beginning of the rut, like the big bulls are really hesitant to come in, especially like when they still have cover and they don't see what's going on yet. You know, there's a meadow, they're behind some alders or whatnot. So, like, you really have to do things to entice them, and it usually has to do a lot with, like, playing with, like, cow calls softly, closely, and then, like, right before dark, you know, you aggravate them, you challenge them in, and then you get them to step out.
It is amazing. Like, moose do moose things, and you're like, every time
That's a good shirt.
Thundercats do Thundercat things.
That's right. That's the shirt. That you guys like with 4 quarters in that little boat. 8 cases of beer.
You're just like sticking out an inch out of the water.
1-inch freeboard. You're just like,
we would be sinking, but we have a beluga head floating out.
We got all this
With the
fat
tide going out,
we got this coat of fat on us, so we're not going to sink. But like, every time like I've been moose hunting, it's like, you know, you think you know, like you think you know moose, like you're trying to learn about their thought process. Not that they have one, right? But it's like, you do your thing, and you're just like, we're night hunters. We're not morning hunters. You know, some guys get up at 4 in the morning and they post
we go
up.
to bed at that time.
Yeah, all right. And so I mean, you do you whatever you do, and we're just like, you glass, you do all this, you do all this work, and then like every time, like same exact time, they're just like, you're glassing this area, and you're just like, yeah, there's nothing. Oh, there's 18 moose out here. Like what? They're just like, I'm gonna wake up and I'm gonna get some tonight, like right now, and it's you're just like, okay, I like how you operate, and
They're just Houdini.
Yeah,
Like they're just
and it's
like,
and it's not like they're hiding. They're just laying down. They're just like, okay, now it's time to do what I'm going to do because I'm a moose, and you just
been glassing that same nub of swamp for
you
19 hours, and all of a sudden there's 3 moose by it.
Exactly, and you're just like, well, I got to figure out what this moose is thinking, and
Can you tell me a Gulkana story?
Are you a Gulkana regular? Are you on
How many
that
times
thing?
have you done the Gulkana?
I'm a 12-year veteran.
12-year veteran.
Yeah.
Shit, dude.
Yeah,
Man, that's almost Hall of Fame.
Yeah. Oh, shame. Yeah. I've seen
It's like my backyard, all right?
the doldrums.
Well, how old was your first Gulkana? When was the first time you Gulkana'd?
It's too far back. It's too far back to know. Like I just like when did you learn to walk? Like I don't know. Like, you just did it. So one year we went out, and I used to work for an oil service company, and so part of me wanting to like get out in the woods was like, I'm going to sponsor this trip, and my boss was like, all right, we'll let you have some time off, but you got to take care of all these guys, all these clients. And so one year we had like 14 clients, and it was me. And so,
As lead guy, these are all new guys?
there, some new, some, there's kind of a splatter of like, we had some guy that he was, one guy was like from Egypt, and he was like, yeah, I've never been out in the woods before. And then there's a bunch of guys that were like, avid fishermen, and, they were into it. And so, you send out the emails, and you try to get the numbers, and rent the boats, and do all the stuff, and try to get a little, try to get some, people. Organization and try to get some people to help, with the process. And usually what ends up happening is I get all the boats, I buy all the beer, I make all the food, I tell everybody, meet me at Paxson, at this day, at this time. And usually it works. And it was one year we had 14 guys. And so I cooked all the food, you freeze dry.
That's a lot of food for 14.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And so, and all the beer, I mean, the calculation on what you guys were.
Oh, you want calculations?
10 guys a beer a day is what we usually roll with, and so
that's
times
actually
that,
good.
Some guys less, some guys more. But
that's a good estimate for us.
So you had like a pallet
but the
boat?
old estimate used to be 3 cases per trip. per person.
Yeah, so I don't know how many days. Packs. I can't add that 30, good,
but that's actually really, really good. 10 per day.
That's a better rule.
Yeah. So
because first day you probably hit.
First 30. First night flare out. I don't know if you guys talked about that, but first night flare out.
Like 36 beers for sure.
You lose a lot of guys that first night. Everybody.
Some are left behind.
Yeah. Everybody busting nut and just
everybody.
It's a marathon.
You
so excited.
Everybody going hard to the paint, and you lose a couple. And this one year we had it was kind of this weird like mixture of different companies and different guys, and it wasn't like, usually you try to like get the group that you want to have, like, and it was one of those like, you got a couple guys you like, and then they're like, oh, tell this friend, and so we had kind of random people, and sort of randos, yeah. And so we end up anyway. I was like, whatever, I'm here for you, right?
Are you the only one that's ever done it? In the group?
No, I think there was a couple guys that have done it on the group. Yeah, but it was in their mind it was like you're
the captain.
They're being catered. Yeah, and so we.
This is fully guided.
Well, by me, and I'm not a guide, so
he's Gulkana certified.
I'm Gulkana certified. This was like year 3, I think. So I was like a yellow belt, like an orange belt. I don't know what Taekwondo.
Yeah, I didn't quite know all the term in the quad and pulled it out yet.
I knew what to expect, but it was not like I was able to like delegate, right? So anyway, so we load up, they're packs in, we're motoring across. And everybody's just getting tuned up, like you do. First night flare out, flotilla. We had one little kicker, and we go across, catch a couple Lakers, and it was great, and everybody's having fun. Good weather, which is always nice on that trip. And first night you camp there at the mouth, and people are fishing, people are just hooting it up, and it was and the one guy, we called him the Dark Cloud because he was just like. He was normally just like in work mode. He's just like, he's like Eeyore, right? He's just like, oh man, this is, fuck this, like sucks. And he got like 18 fucking PBRs in him. And he's like, you're my best friend. We're going to hang out. We're going to have the most fun. And we're going to high five all night. He's out in the middle of the river, like nothing on, just like boxer shorts, like fishing all night, like 3 a.m. He's just like having the best time of his life. I'm like, all right, this guy's, coming out of his shell. And we all pass out, the next morning, wake up. We're like, all right, shake the cobwebs out, cooking breakfast. And this guy's like nowhere to be found. We're like, well, he may be dead. Nobody knows.
Floated down river.
Yeah. And so we all everybody gets our shit like packed up, and there's one little tent in the back where you're like, kind of shaking it. And he's just like, wah, 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 wah. And we basically had to drag him out, throw him in the raft. And he's like, when are we going to be home? And I'm like, it ain't going to be for a few days, brother. And so he literally was a piece of shit like the rest of the trip, just laid in the front of the boat and just, you're
the full flare out. Just
first night flare out. He went hard to the paint and he did not come back. and so he
didn't even recover. Like not even to day 2.
No, not day 2.
Not day 3.
Day 3.
Day 4.
Day 3, yeah. So we float every, and Gulkana, you guys been on there. It's like you catch all the fish you want all the time, and you're just like fishing and and rafting. It's like it's such a good trip, right? And so, I mean, unless we don't want it to be like that, it may suck for a lot of people that
don't do it.
Don't do it.
Sucks.
Ever. It sucks.
He's probably just coming off heroin or something.
I mean,
he may have, yeah. I mean, that could be the answer there. So anyway,
effects.
So we power through, and he's just laying in the boat. We're just you forget about him, right?
Laying in the boat.
Yeah, in the front, and
like a child.
We're in a self-bailing raft, and it's like you hit something and water splashes. He's like,
sounds just like Eeyore.
Just soaks it up.
Moose are coming up.
Oh yeah. And at one point, like day 2, we're just like, you have to get on the sticks because we wanted to fish. Like it was 3 guys to a boat, and we're just like, we want to fish, And so he gets on there, and he's like intentionally just being a piece of shit. And he had his 2 fly rods in the back, and he's like, I don't know what I'm doing. And we start spinning. both of his fly rods get plucked out of the water from like sweepers.
No.
And so I'm like, all right, fuck you. And so I like start, and he's like, no. And he jumps in the water, jumps on the beach, crawls up and gets his, and anyway, he retrieved him. I'm like, you're not going to oar anymore because this is just ridiculous. But I say that because he's a piece of shit, but the rest of the trip was awesome. So we did the falls, we shot the falls and it was great. There's no issues. And we, camped 2 nights at the falls and, great fishing there. And then we go to West Fork and so was there 3, 12, like 4 boats total, bunch of dudes. And we're, like a standard Gulkana trip. You're hooting and hollering. You come and you pull in at, 10, 11, 12 late. And West Fork is like a big long beach, and so we post up kind of in the middle because that's like king fishing, right? And so the program is you camp there the last night, you kingfish, bonfire, do all that. And there was a guy at the kind of the head of that, the beach there. It was just one tiny 2-man camp or 2-man tent, 2 guys. One guy had like a mosquito net on his face. And so he walks down like a half the way down, which is, whatever, 100 yards. And he's like, what are you guys doing? I was like, we're posting up tonight. We just had a great trip. We're going to fish and, we'll be on our way. He's like, no, you're not. He's like, you guys are going to leave. We're like, that is not what's going to happen. And he's like, no, I this is a guided trip. This guy has paid a lot of money to have the Alaskan experience. And we're going to, we want a peaceful, time with no, and he's like, you guys can camp at the next bend. And we're like, no, that's not what's going to happen. And he was a fully guided, like guide stickers and all this. And so, 12 guys, 500 beers later, a couple of the guys are like, we're kind of getting a little frothy. And I'm like, guys, just let him stew, let him do his thing. Right. And so, so we're sitting there and, guys are fishing. We're cooking dinner. We're setting up camp. We're
the full process.
Moving on with the experience.
We're not being outrageously loud. We're being good. So the guy comes back,
being good.
Shotgun on his shoulder.
Oh.
And he's like,
oh shit.
Yeah. And he's like, so boys, are you guys going to move on or are you guys going to stay here? And my one guy from Egypt was like, oh yeah, motherfucker. Oh yeah, motherfucker. We're gonna go. And he starts like just hard charge. I'm like, whoa, like this is not. And everybody's strapping because it's bear country, right? And it's like, this is not what we're into, right? And so this guy was like flexing on us with a shotgun, and I was like, and we all had inflatables. He had a rigid, and we're just like, well, he's gonna go pop our boats tonight, So he had a couple guys, just posted up, hoping that didn't happen, and he's taking pictures of us, doing all the stuff that's like not
just an annoyance,
not cool, And so it's like, we reported him to the guide service of whatever, It's like, that's the Gulkana program is you're having fun. We were doing what we're doing, and he was trying to have this like,
and it's public land.
And he was trying to have this serene like, I'm going to take you out. This is going to be like you're never going to see another person on. It's like
there's some other holes up,
exactly right. And he was because right there's motorized.
Yeah,
and that's what we said. We're like, well, we're rafting. We can only do what we can do, and it's like
you're on the last good hole of the river,
exactly,
and he can go up to some glorious holes.
So if you're listening,
way more serene.
If you're listening, bad on you.
Yeah,
with some So
wow, that was a good one.
Way to hold your ground.
Yeah, no, it was and everybody had fun except for Dark Cloud. Every time we'd post up like at the falls, he would grab his one bag of tent and one bag of gear, and he went and just posted up and went to sleep. And we're all you portage, and you post up and you're hooting and hollering, and he literally like nobody saw him from like after day one until, and he's like, when are we getting there? When are we getting there? I was like, rule 1 of Gulkana is you never ask when you're getting home. Like,
you'll get there when you get there.
It happens when it happens. The river runs through you, brother. So yeah, and then the next year we did the same trip, and I intentionally didn't invite him because I thought he had the worst trip of his life. A week after we got back, he's like, dude, why didn't you invite me? I'm like, what? He's like, that was the best trip I've ever had in my life. I'm like, dude.
It was?
your signals were all off. Like, if you want to get hammered drunk and sleep in a boat for 4 days, like you got a weird sense of, excitement, but
first day of time out of the house.
Yeah. Well, Galen, thanks for coming in, man. Thanks for giving us the stories and on the cabin. And anyone that's trying to look for some more info on the Thundercat, at Galen Nelson.
T-Cat.
At Galen Nelson is the Instagram. Go by Barney's and go ahead and pick you up a hoodie or something like that and some new hats. We got some new hats and some new hoodies on the website now. If you're looking to place an order, if you are in Anchorage, hit us up on Instagram and I'll meet you, so you don't got to pay the charge or whatever. If you're out of state, get on the website. Leave us an Apple Podcast review. Heather's Choice promo code Alaska Wild, and visit the website and leave us a comment and subscribe to the YouTube channel. Any final thoughts, boys?
Don't let Glennallen scare you. You gotta go to know, man. Just go to Sparks Place, man. That place, it'll blow your mind.
Sparks Place, there it is. Alaska, stay wild.
You remember my speaking to you of what I call your overcautiousness. Are you not overcautious when you assume that you cannot do what the enemy is constantly doing?
The Alaska Wild Project podcast is brought to you by the following sponsors.
Barney's Sports Chalet, supplying hunters with the best hand-selected gear since 1963. The exclusive home of frontier gear built for the rugged Alaskan terrain. Your one-stop shop for all your outdoor needs. Visit Barney's today at 906 West Northern Lights.
Arbor Digital, the forefront of digital assets, cryptocurrencies, and wealth management, providing a low-cost, research-based investment strategy for Alaskans looking to invest their hard-earned money. Visit acminc.com today to put your money to work.
Tailored Restoration 24-hour emergency home services, helping Alaskans restore their dreams since 1972. Services include fire, water, mold, post-emergency cleaning, repair, and remodeling. Give them a call in Anchorage, Eagle River, Matsu, or Fairbanks. Hit them up at tailoredrestorationalaska.com.
Total Truck and Alaska Overlander, Alaska's premier supplier for custom automotive accessories and overlanding products, providing all-inclusive rental vehicles and trailers custom outfitted to explore the Alaskan backcountry with a unique and convenient traveling experience.
Serrano's Mexican Grill, 2 locations, one on Tudor, one on Northern Lights. The Northern Lights location has their new tequila bar. Check it out. Also see their daily specials at serranosmexicangrill.com.
TheTreehouseAK.com, located at 341 Boniface Parkway, Alaska's own and grown cannabis and CBD store. Ask the bud tender what the strain of the day is to get your 10% off. The Treehouse, where the culture lives.
The Connoisseur Lounge, Alaska's premier locally owned and operated cannabis retailer, located in the heart of Palmer, Alaska. Their cultivated products include Snowcap Romance, Aurora Haze, Super Glue, and much more. Find them at theconnoisseurlounge.net.
AKO Farms, located in Sitka, Alaska, built from the ground up with concentrates as their single motivation, with exclusive products such as their sugar wax, full spectrum diamond sauce carts, and more. Ask your local bud tender about AKO. Marijuana has intoxicating effects and may be habit-forming and addictive. Marijuana impairs concentration, coordination, and judgment. Do not operate a vehicle or machinery under the influence. There are health risks associated with consumption of marijuana. For the use of only by adults 21 and older. Keep out of the reach of children, and marijuana should not be used by women who are pregnant or breastfeeding.
The Bait Shack, located on Ship Creek upstream of the bridge. Can't miss the bright red shack. They are the go-to fishing gear rental and guide service on Ship Creek. Tight lines and fish on. Come hook into the action with them. Hit them up at thebaitshackak.com.
Anchortown Dogs, located on 4th Avenue across from the old 4th Avenue Theater. Look for the blue and gold umbrella. From reindeer dogs to bomb euros, they've got you covered. Anchortown Dogs, your local gourmet hot dog and sausage cart.
Crude Magazine, Alaska-based media outlet using the last frontier as a springboard to discover larger truths about the cultures of our great state. Read more at crudemag.com.
Lawn Pro AK, Alaska's year-round professional property maintenance team. Services include snow and ice management, weekly lawn care, and more. Get your free estimate today at lawnproak.com.
Double Shovel Cider Company, located off of Arctic and 58th, handcrafted Alaskan-made colonial ciders. They also have a tap room downtown on the corner of 5th and E. Stop by today and taste an award-winning cider.
Lady with a Plan, your own Alaska event planner. From scouting the perfect location to planning the tiniest details, specializing in event management and production for intimate social gatherings. Find Lady with a Plan on Instagram.
Should you not claim to be at least his equal in prowess and act upon the claim? I say try. If we never try, we shall never succeed. This proposition is a simple truth, and it's too important to be lost sight of for a moment. If we cannot beat the enemy where he now is, we never can. It is all easy if our troops march as well as the enemy, and it is unmanly to say they cannot do it.